I think the most impacting for me was my friend Tom got killed, and I had to make a decision on whether or not I was going to go and try and save his life or do my job. And I chose to do my job. And on my bad days of PTSD, then I view it as I left my friend to die on a rooftop. On my good days where I'm not having a bad day of PTSD, I realised that there's only me and the PB at the time that could do my job, and if I wasn't bringing in fire from artillery pieces and controlling her assets and stuff like that, then the whole camp might have been overrun. Yeah. But it's hard on the bad days to think, well, you left your mate to die on a rooftop. And there was a penultimate decision. He got hit, come over the radio, man down, keel's down. And I was like, I'm going to go. My mate's like, what are you doing? So I'm going to go out, Tom. He's like, there's a medic for that. I'm like, but I'm here. And he's like, only you can do your job. Do your fucking job. And I have to live with the consequences of that.
Welcome to From Rock Bottom, the podcast where we explore real stories of struggle, survival, and strength. Each weekly episode features honest conversations with people who faced mental health battles, addiction, trauma, and life's darkest moments, and found a way to rise again. A quick content warning: some of the topics we discuss may be distressing or triggering. We talk openly about mental health, addiction, and other sensitive issues. Please listen with care, and if you need to, take a break or reach out for support. You're not alone, and this space is here to remind you of that.
Boom, and we are on. Today I'm joined by Ryan Yates, veteran of the British Army, served a couple of tours, and like many lads we've had on here, left the army with PTSD, and then that just turns into a spiral. But I ain't going to ruin that. That's his story to tell. And now we turned it all around, turning a negative into a positive. Ryan, how you doing?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Nah, bro, I appreciate you travelling here today. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so just like everyone, mate, you're going to start right at the very start. Send me back to your childhood.
Yeah, so I grew up in Bolton. My mum and dad split up when I was young. My mum remarried a couple of times. I was from quite an underprivileged area of Bolton, so we didn't have a lot of money. I learned from a young age, you know, if you kind of want money, you got to go and find it. So that kind of led me down a little bit of a path when I was a kid, rolling in like with the wrong group of people and stuff like that. You know, nothing serious, but like petty troubles and gang stuff, fighting, things like that, and you know, the odd nicking like car ornaments and wheel trims and stuff, and the odd stereo to make a bit of cash and stuff. I went to a very good secondary school. My mum was rigid on where I was going to go to this school, so I had to do the whole church thing and all that to get into this school. But when I got into that school, like one of the kids in there, like the dad owned like AO back in the day or whatever it's called, like some massive website. You know, people had money. There was a lot of people from money, and I had jack shit. So I ended up with like 2 jobs when I was 13. I was working in a butcher's at the weekend, then I was working at my uncle's restaurant 4 nights a week because we couldn't even afford school dinners. Like my mum would send me with a butty in a polythene bag, and at my kind of school, you just couldn't roll like that. So I very quickly realised if you need money and you wanted money, I had to get it myself, and working, doing a bit of dodgy stuff with the boys and things like that. I was just a little bit of a terror, but nothing major. And I suppose looking back, I was also a little bit of a bully at the time. I was a fat lad. I had a bit of weight behind me, and because I come from a rough area, you resolve everything with your fists, don't you? But I went to a nice school where kids weren't like that because they'd had nice upbringing. So
associate with lawyers.
Yeah, I'll sue you. So I've got nothing. So yeah, I kind of had a period at school where the common denominator was, you know, Ryan could try harder. Like he could try harder. If he put his mind to it, he could try harder. But it was just nothing. I didn't fit in that school. I felt like I was just completely the wrong person in the wrong fit, and it was unfortunate because looking back now, the amount of opportunities I had at that place and the amount of opportunities that could have come in if I had just like tried harder or whatever. But it just worked me. I was like, you know, I were a bit of a bully. I'll lend us a quid, mate. I have no intention of ever paying anyone back and stuff like that. And you know, I knew the people that had excess money and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, I forgot my dinner money, lend us some money. And you know, I were a twat. Long story short, I'm not proud of it, but you're a kid and you're a product of your environment, and kind of where I grew up in Great Lever, that's exactly what people did. Like, you know, you were ducking and diving all the time, and if you found an easy avenue to explore, that's what you did. So My granddad cottoned on to like what I was doing when I was younger. My granddad served in the Merchant Navy for many years. He travelled the world twice by the time he was 13. My mum's second husband, he'd been in the army for a couple of years, but he bought himself out because his missus at the time had got pregnant. Back in the days when you could buy something out, so discipline in my household was pretty rife. Like my mum's second husband, my youngest brother's dad, he was an alkie as well, so things were rigid. Like when you were good, but when you were drunk, you were fucked. Like, so you'd come home and the house would look like a show home, and you'd like, ah, shit, he's been on the booze all day.
Yeah.
So then you'd be like, so I got very task orientated. So whenever things went wrong in the house and he'd erupt or whatever and fucking kick off, there would be at some point where there'd be a redirection of task, and it'd be like one example, like you put my brother's head through a window, and then he was like, "You go and get a takeaway." I'm right, yeah, okay. And there's fuck all I could do to control the situation. Like, I'm only 3 years older than my brother, but I'm like, right, and it kind of became this thing where in our house, when everything went wrong, you found something to do, and it's like, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about, or why have you got that face on? Change it, or I'll give you something to have that face for. So I cope with a lot of things. Like whenever I start to lose control of something or a situation, I find a task orientation to redirect on, and then that's something I can control and the outcome of that specific thing.
Yeah. And
then I try and regain control of my world from that. So I was obviously like fucking ruining my kind of school career, and I'd always wanted to be a soldier. Don't know why. I just grew up on watching programs like fucking Sharp and stuff like that, and I wasn't, looking back now, and I couldn't say this at the time, but looking back now, what I realised is I wasn't happy with my own body, and I wasn't happy with who I was, and I needed an opportunity to reinvent the person that I thought I wanted to be or thought I should be. And one good thing about my granddad is he always got us reading books when we were kids. And I read a book when I was very young called Beaux Gestes, and it's about 3 British guys back in like the Victorian period, and there's a theft and they all fuck off and join the French Foreign Legion. And during this book, these guys that are all accused independently of stealing this diamond because no one knows who's nicked it, they all join the Foreign Legion and reinvent themselves and all this, and I thought, I fucking like that. And then you're reading in the book about they're walking through the streets with like medals on the chest and people are looking at them, and I'm thinking, I want a bit of that, you know, like this. And I'd already had an interest in the army anyway, an interest in military, and I was like, the only good thing I did at school, like in excess, was history. Like I love battles and tactics, and I would have done that differently, or I would have done this like this. So the logical step for me was to go into the army, and my granddad had said as much when I was a kid. He's like, you know, you need to get away from Bolton, you need to go away and you need to become your own man.
Yeah, create your own path.
Yeah, my granddad was old school. Like, he was Irish Scouser, and he had a hard upbringing. You know, his dad died in the war and stuff, and he was a big believer in like just going forge your own way, because that's what he did. Like, he joined the Merchant Navy at like 13, and I'd get my sense of adventure from my granddad because he had all these adventures. And mate, like, he'd done time in a Mexican prison breaking rocks for like him and 2 of his mates jumping a married Mexican prison officer, a policeman, and all this kind of stuff. And then like he got expatriated back to the UK because he got tuberculosis, so they put him on a tuberculosis ship and fucked him off and stuff. So I grew up with these adventures and these stories, and it kind of really inspired. Yeah, like the army would be a place for me. Like that, I can fucking birds who want to bang me and fucking blokes who want to beat me. And I come home, medals on my chest and stuff, and people would respect me and all that kind of stuff. And you know, just childish ambition, but it was an ambition and it was a driving force. So I went to the careers office at 15, said I want to join the army. They sent me off to recruit selection centre, and I failed my 1.5 miles. I was too fat. I don't tell many people this part of the story, but I was too fat. But 2 of my mates from school, one of my best mates, still best mates to this day, like, he'd got in. And I remember, like, for me, that was the first time I ever suffered or experienced failure. And I did not fucking like how it felt. Like, I did not like, it's fucking, like,
embarrassment.
Yeah, but it feels horrible. Like, you don't want to eat and you can't fucking sleep and you're ashamed and you don't. It's just horrible, innit? Like, and I thought, fucking, I never want to experience this again. So I came home. I got on I found out some stuff about the Atkins diet, because like the internet wasn't even the same back then. It was still on fucking dial-up in the 90s. So like everyone was doing this Atkins diet, and I was like, right, I'm gonna do this Atkins diet. I'm gonna lose some weight, and I started training. And 2 months later, they sent me off for a pipeline fitness assessment in my local area, because I passed everything else in training, but not the 1.5 miles on the recruit selection day. So I passed that then at Heaton Park, and they were like, right, you've got to go back up to recruit selection now in case something's changed, which they don't do anymore. They would have just let me get in from there now. But back in the day, you had to go back and do it again. You had to re-interview. So I'd done all that, and they were like, right, you're going to Harrogate, you're going in the army at 16, and I was like, right, and like kind of previously to this, when I joined the army, I'd gone without my parents' knowledge, and I'd forged my dad's signature because it's pretty much the same as mine.
Yeah.
And they were like, what do you want to join? And I thought, I knew the situation was going to be, oh, my mum was going to go on that. There's no fucking chance you'll join the army. And then this guy's like, join the infantry. And I was like, that's not going to roll in my house.
Yeah.
Like my mum, we refer to infantry as fucking cannon fodder. So I was like, that's not going to roll in my gaff. So anyway, I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. And he's like, come watch this video. And I seen a video of these fucking awesome blokes in like full subsurface OPs in Bosnia, cammed up, like looking through the aperture, eyes on the enemy and all this kind of stuff. And they were just awesome. They just looked fucking awesome. And I was like to the guy, that's what I want to do. And he was like, you can't. I was like, why? Well, you've got to join the army for like 3 years to get in. It's like, fuck. He's like, but they're tri-service, this unit, and this unit's called 473. And he said, like, they're a tri-service unit, so Army, Navy, Air Force can all apply to go and do selection. They run their own selection process. And then if you pass selection, you can serve with them for 2 years. You get your own burying belt. And then if you want to stay, you have to recap badge the artillery, which is like the only downfall of the whole unit, really. You wear an artillery cap badge. And he was like, but what you can do is you can join 2-9 Commando. Go and join 2-9 at Harrogate. You'll go through Harrogate for a year. You'll leave Harrogate at 17. Then you're on your commando course. By the time you're 19, you'll be eligible to go, not 20, you'll be eligible to go and do 473. I was like, right, fine, I'll do that. So I went to training, and I always, like, I say all the time, I'm not a lucky guy, but like with this instance, like luck just landed on my toes. So I've been in Harrogate going as 2-9, and my platoon sergeant was 2-9, so he was giving me loads of shit anyway. Like just thrashing me because I was a fat little bastard. And then it come out, 473, because there was so on demand. They'd opened it up that anyone could go. If you could pass selection, you can join the unit.
Yeah.
So then I've like marched up to the office, slammed my tabs in. Yeah, Sergeant, I want to change unit. Bear in mind, this is his unit. And he's like, why? And I remember he had this fucking 2-9. He must have had a box of these mugs, mate, for the amount of times he smashed them, right? But he had this 2-9 Commando mug, so it's like Commando dagger, 2-9 Commando underneath it, and he's drinking. I just see him getting angry, and I'm like, yeah, don't want to go up 2-9 anymore. I want to go up 473. Oh, why? Is 473 better than my unit, is it? No, I just really want to go 473, and I fucking boom, mugs off the wall, smash, you little fucking prick. Yeah, no, anyway, so long story short, I'd rechanged to go 473, and finished phase 1 at Harrogate at 16. I just picked 17 as I left, because my birthday's April, and we left Harrogate I think it'd be July, because it's like 40 weeks. I went down to phase 2 training, which all I did there was comms and driving. So I got my driving license, and I got like comms operators out to use radios, because 473 didn't do any generic artillery roles. They were just an artillery cap badge because of how they were formulated like 30 years previously. So like all your skill sets and you learn in house. So then like I've been in the army at this point like 13, 14 months, and I was like going up to my regiment. Got to the regiment in the November of 05. I joined the army in September 04, and then I was like walked into this fucking world of just awesome blokes, like the most professional soldier I've ever fucking seen. And I'm thinking, I want to fucking be all you guys, and these guys are like, who the fuck are you? And then it pretty much started almost instantly from when I got to the regiment. Then like, who are you? Or I'm Yates. Yeah, I'm here for do selection. How old are you? 17. You ain't fucking passing selection. Okay, I've been told that quite a few times, but I'm still here, kind of thing. And I got into the regiment in November. The sergeant major at the time, who was a fucking amazing bloke, joined the army as a private, and I think he got out as a major in the end. Did every rank, he's the kind of guy like you would follow that fucker into hell. And he was like, right, I've got nothing for you, because you got to go on the course in January. Got nowhere to put you really. So your room's over here. There's a signals course that started last week, signals level 2. You're going to go on that because you did signals level 1 last week. So the first week of the course is just a refresher from level 1. So you should be all right at that, shouldn't you? And I was like, yes, sir. Right, go and do that. So put me on that, and that's so I went to Christmas leave. So at this point, I've been in the regiment maybe 6 weeks, and everyone who's anyone is telling me that you ain't got a fucking chance. I'm speaking to people that have failed the course. You ain't got a fucking chance. The badge blokes that I thought were gonna like be dead pally with me, I were a piece of shit because I weren't badged. Therefore, I wasn't worth the fucking time. And I was like, oh my fucking god.
Why does everyone think you're not gonna get through it?
Because no one at this point had ever done it at my age.
Okay.
And because like the attrition rate and the fail rate is so fucking high.
What makes it so hard? Is it the bee stings?
Well, it's a long course anyway. I'll get into it. So I started selection in January 06, I think the second week of Jan. And then the course goes over, you've got 3 weeks beat up in the hills and you do a test week in the hills. After you finish the hills, you've then got like basic patrols, which is like 2 weeks. Then you've got advanced patrols, which is 2 weeks. And you've got field firing. Then you've got signals week, first aid week. And all these weeks accumulate into a 19-week course. And at any point on this course, you can get a stand-up fail. So the instructors can just go, you don't fit, you're gone.
Yeah.
We also do like at the end of every week, like whoever's still on the course, they go, who do you think doesn't deserve to be here? And like your peers can vote you off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, and then or you can also fail by not hitting times, not hitting markers, not hitting parameters on testing and stuff like that. So for me, after the Christmas, I got in my head I was going to fail anyway, but what I thought was, right, I'm 17, I'll go on the course, I'll start it, I'll at least get fit on the hills for 3 weeks because test week was week 4. So I thought even if I only get to week 4, I'll have an understanding of what's going on, but also I'll have got fitter and I can build on that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, well, I weren't going to quit because, and I say this all the time, and I genuinely believe it. Like one of the main reasons I passed the course at 17, and I'm the youngest person ever in the history of the British Army to do so, is because I didn't realise I could quit because I hadn't been in the army long enough to understand the fucking procedures to go. I don't want to do this. Send me back to my unit. So I've been in a training establishment where you just do what you're fucking told for like at this point. Nearly a year and a half, almost 2 years of people going, see that tree over there, go and find me a leaf, bump, come back, not that one, another one, bump, come back. Like, I just had this mentality of, I'm just going to do what I was told. So I was never going to quit. I just assumed, well, I'm going to fail at the next hurdle. Like the next bout of testing will be like when they had a thing called a pig board. So they take pictures of everyone and you go on the pig board at the start, and as people come off or they quit, they like voluntarily withdraw, VW, or they get told that they've not made the cut, they have to go and cross their own picture off on the pig board, but it stays so you can see how many people have failed and how many people carry on. So I was just like, right, okay, well, every morning I assumed was going to be my last day, and I'm not joking, mate. For the entirety of the course, every day I assumed that day would be my last day, but I weren't going to just volunteer and go, I'm not going to do it. So on the beastings and stuff like that, which are fucking horrible and numerous, and sometimes they just go, right lads, like as an example, we'd finished test week, and so our test weeks are known distance, unknown time. So you don't know how fast you've got to do it. You've got to do it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
All you know is the distances. So like day 1 is a 10 miler, then that night you've got a night nav. The next day you've got an 18k, the next day you've got a 22k, the next day you've got a 50k.
And you don't know how quick you go to these in, just fuck no.
So the first 4 are your led. So you lead it, you nav it, you do checkpoint drills. So you fuck your map reading up, anything like that. You fucked if they catch you on what they call a Bergen train. So they see you behind someone who's using their map and you're just plodding along at like half a mile behind, you binned. And then the last march is what they call the endurance march. So this is 50k. So at this point you're carrying like 40 kilos on your back plus water and food. So if you want to drink 2 litres of water is an extra 2 kilos. 1 litre of water is 1 kilo in weight. Mm-hmm. So anything you want to drink on that day has to go on top of your minimum weight. When you weigh your Bergen at the end of every match, it has to weigh the same. So you're carrying potentially about 45 kilos by the time you've got a bit of food in there, a bit of water, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the endurance march is 50k. And when we got to the 50k point of our endurance march, that's DS led. So the directional staff lead that. So you just start at A point, and we're in the Highlands of Scotland here, up in Glencorse. And like we've been training on these courses, so you've kind of got a rough idea, like, all right, we're at Knockconic, right, we're going over to Benimi, or we've been on the Cobbler, or now we're starting to hit Little Africa. Oh shit, there's a load of horrible points on Little Africa, they're going to bounce us all around these. And you start guessing the route because you don't know the routes or anything. So then at the 50k, we all know we're fucking miles away from car park. And they go, right lads, ditch Bergens, there's a stretcher over there. You got a 7k stretcher run now down to the car park. And blokes were just like, boom, snap, done. No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like guys that had done 50k, I was like, I can't physically do that.
We're at the finish line as well, pretty much.
Yeah, but that's only week 4.
Yeah.
So, like, as an example, like some of our beastings, the beastings were for nothing other than to get rid of people. So they would go, right, one of them, we were on, up in Gerlock Head, and there were 2 men to a railway sleeper, and there was a mile stretch of track, which was quite wide. You could fit 4 people on it widthways. And you started 2 men to a railway sleeper, you run down to a point, turn around and come back. And we did that continuously for 4 hours until 6 people dropped. They just went, we got too many people, we want 6 gone. Who's going to voluntarily withdraw now? Straight away someone would go me, because they just knew they didn't have it in them.
Yeah.
And other than that, mate, and you weren't even running at the end, you were shuffling, you were barely picking your feet up. But they will wait until they got rid of the 6 people. And as soon as the 6th person dropped, they're like, right, cool, start the railway sleepers over there, get Phil in, we'll go back to camp.
Fucking hell.
So, because of all those kind of reasons, and then the learning curves like that, you're going from not just using, your primary weapon systems, you're using like all these other weapon systems that you don't see in the conventional army, you're doing contact drills in a way that you don't really see in the conventional army, and then like med skills massively in depth, signal skills massively in depth. Like part of our signals training week is we do the P Company assault course, but you've got to do it in a faster time than P Company. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it is constantly, these targets are just astronomically high. So 68 people started my course and 6 passed. And that is pretty much why they were like, there's no way you're going to pass this at 16, at 17. And fortunately for me, I did pass. Fortunately, got my burying bell 2 days before my 18th birthday. So at this point, I'm still a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a thing that's called discharge as of right, which means I can still say I'm a kid, I don't want to start. My adult service hasn't started, so the first 2 years of my career don't go towards my pension.
Yeah.
I call it like colour service or time for the Queen, as it was. So then I've got like my burying belt, badge on my arm, like ecstatic, I've achieved this thing that so many people have failed. Less than 500 people have ever passed the selection course, to my knowledge, to date. And nobody has ever, no one's ever done it younger than me. And I don't think anyone will now, just because of the restructuring of the way that they do the course and stuff like that. But I'll still get people now, lads messaging me, I've listened to your podcast, or I've seen your stuff, like, I'm going to beat your title. And I'm like, mate, I hope you do. Like, let me know, like, how's your training? And I'll help them out, I fucking love that people still know when I go, well, I want to be the best, or I want to be the youngest and stuff.
Do you think you only got through that because it's drilled into you, or I've been told to do it, I'm just going to fucking do it?
Yeah. The thing is, what I didn't realise is at the time, and I think a lot of people were getting, that don't understand the kind of way that units like mine works, is that they don't want the fastest, they don't want the strongest.
Yeah.
They want someone who they can train, but also who can think on the feet. Like, you have to be a team player, but you need to be able to work on your own. Mm-hmm. And that's very different to what the rest of the British Army want. If you're the biggest guy, normally everyone thinks you're going to be all right. Big guys don't like living underground.
Yeah.
Big guys can't carry weight for long periods of time. Big guys need a lot of calories. So when they don't start getting the calories in, when they've been on the ground for 14 days. So one of the things that my unit used to specialise is that we do full subsurface OPs, but we could go 14 days without resupply. Big lads don't like eating next to no calories for 14 days. Similarly, like racing snakes, if they've got no weight, they don't really do well getting cold all the time. Mm-hmm. So my unit requires a thinking soldier, somebody that can work as part of a team, but also has got enough about them to be able to work on their own, because very, very regularly, you get split off and you will go and do a job on your own, or you'll get attached to a unit on your own. Yeah. And I think that everyone just had this wrong impression of what the correct soldier for 473 was, including me. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys came that had been in the army 10 years thinking, I've done this, I've done that, and therefore that it would be easy.
Yeah.
But it's not. And one thing I was at that point is extremely trainable, because I'd just been in an environment where all I was doing was soaking in information, regurgitating it in a way that somebody wanted to see it.
Yeah, being told what to do and you just fucking doing it.
And also, like, I didn't know how to quit, but I also didn't know it was an option.
Yeah.
Because it's the fucking army. And where guys going IVW, I'm going to go back to my unit. I'm like, well, I've got no unit because I came here.
Yeah.
Like, I've got nowhere to go back to. So my future was like in question as, well, where the fuck do I go?
Yeah.
What happens to me because I come straight here? So I kind of put myself in this position where, like, you know, I went all in, and it panned out that it went really fucking well for me, and you know, I prof from that, and then from there I spent 10 years with a unit, 2 operational tours, loads
Before we get into that, Roy, we're going to rewind it back.
Yeah.
Marcus Portman, Britain's undisputed bouncer and former World English champion. Now I'm used to all sorts of, all sorts of ways of life, but to do with veterans and serving, they're the ones who made a real difference in their lives. They've served their country, and when they come out, they've battled mental health issues, homelessness, and just not being able to get into employment. And that's where the Veterans Army come into it. They help with rehabilitation, helping people fight addiction, and just getting people back, veterans back on their feet. So just shout out to them, and they need all the help they can get, as much funding as they can get, because they do a fantastic job. So please look out for them.
Back to just when you were a child, because obviously this mentality comes from your childhood. How did your parents actually take it when you was going into the army?
To be honest with you, my mum thought I would only last 2 weeks, and she actually ran the book of like taking bets on how long I would last in basic training. Yeah. My relationship with my dad is still estranged now, and was at that point. My mum had remarried. My brother's dad, who kind of brought me up for about 10 years, he was gone, but he'd only done 2 years in the army, and at that point, his opinion meant very fucking little to me anyway. My granddad was my biggest advocate, my biggest supporter, and he was just like, listen, I spoke to him a lot when I was in training. He gave me like his boot brushes from when he was in Merchant Navy and stuff, and don't volunteer for anything, right? You get voluntold, but you don't volunteer. All this kind of stuff. So my granddad was massively behind it, but most other people just thought that I were gonna last a couple of weeks and that I weren't gonna be cut out for the military.
Yeah, the doubt just pushed you on.
Yeah, I think it was more, I had nothing to go home to. What was the point? Like, there was a lot of my mates have been, were getting in trouble. A couple of my mates have been done for knocking off a post office and stuff. I had nowhere else to go. I fucked my school career up, really. I would have had to, I got okay GCSEs, like I got NA and mostly C's, but, that's fucking bang average, innit? Like, there's no bang average barristers and there's no bang average fucking solicitors, do you know what I mean? So, I kind of forced myself into a position where this was my only avenue to excel at something and be about something bigger than myself. I think I needed a cause. I needed something bigger than me.
Yeah.
And I never really had that as a kid. There was no "I love you" in our household when we were kids. It was, you were supposed to assume it. I think. And I'm not saying my mum didn't love us. I think she did the best she could, but it weren't great when we were young.
Yeah. And
it weren't like, there was no malice in it. She was off trying to better herself at Open University during my formative years at secondary school. So she ain't got time to dial in on me because she's going away trying to get a degree so she can earn more money for my brothers.
Yeah.
So then it was like, well, I just done my own thing really, and I was the eldest brother, so I always suffered responsibility. Discipline in our house was always there. Like, someday, is your uniform washed? No, we'll go and get it and wash it then. And I'd wash my own uniform, I'd iron my own uniform, polish my own school shoes. There was no gizzits in our house, nothing was free.
Yeah.
And I think that did stand me in good stead.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Because, when I got to training, well, I'm fucking ironing my own clothes for years, boys, so it doesn't really matter that we're ironing our clothes now. And, I've polished my own shoes for years, so it doesn't really matter. Whereas other people were like, whoa, what the fuck's this? Like, my mum's always done my uniform, and, all my shoes just kind of, I thought they automatically polished themselves, and all, your dad was doing it for you because he loved you at night and stuff. I do my own.
How is it for you, like, looking back, like you just said, like, growing up without the "I love yous" and stuff like that? Like, I got 5 brothers. There's no women in my house apart from my mum.
Yeah.
And for us, it was like the same. Like, we're just lads. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, obviously, I'm a dad myself now. It's different, but like, I feel like it's hard to give lads love.
Yeah, I think unfortunately,
What we needed.
yeah, I think because I'm the oldest of 3 brothers, and then we've got massive extended families, both my mum and dad remarried and stuff. But like for me and my full brother and my half brother, I think the problem is that we were quite close in age. So there's like me, my middle brother's 3 years younger, my youngest brother's 6 years younger. So I think that most people in our house, it was misconstrued that discipline was love. Staying on top of us and stopping us getting in serious trouble was their way of kind of displaying love. At the same time, as you know now, like my mum had me at 22. So when I weren't ready for a fucking kid at 22. And like now I can look back at it and I understand.
Of course, yeah, of course.
But at the time I was just like, oh, my mum don't give a fuck because she's gone to uni. Like, man, she's looking after herself and my brothers, and I'm looking after me. And that was okay. Like for me, I was like, I'll look after myself then. Like, and I just thought that's what being a man was. You just look after yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, there is no kind of you heard these stories like people at school going, oh this, and we went fucking skiing, and I'm not skiing. we went to Kel for Yorkshire 2 days with the church, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was just a thing. Like I remember vividly now. I've been in the army a couple of years at this point, and I used to visit my granddad. So whenever I came home at weekend, because I didn't come home much, because what they had to come home for.
Yeah.
But whenever I did, my granddad lived like dead close to my mum, so I would stop off and go and see him. And he obviously started realising his own mortality, and he died quite young. He died at 74. But I remember vividly there was a turning point in his life where when I would leave in his house, he'd come and shake me hand the door and go like, I love you, you know. And I think he realised then, like when my grandma died quite young. I was like 11. That's like the first dead body I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
And like my granddad told us that my grandma had died, and he allowed us like one bout of a cry. So like we were sat in front room and I'll cry, and he's like, right, we've cried about it now, that's done.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And he's like, it's okay to cry, but you can only cry once. Then that's done that. And we were just brought up on weird rules. Like if my brother came home with a busted nose and I didn't have one, I'd get one, or I'd have to go and find the kid who bust my brother's nose. Yeah. There was no my granddad was a massive influencer in bringing us up, because my mum was at uni trying to better herself, and my brother's dad had a big job or whatever. Well, he said he had a job. He was drinking in his car. It's probably a job. But my granddad was like, you know, if someone hits your brother, you tell everybody. Like if your brother's not got, if you've got something and those two have got nothing, and you've all got nothing. Like, and he brought us up in just a very old school way.
Yeah. And
like you have to look after yourself. You have to be solidified, because it's a man's job to look after everybody else. And it weren't like, my granddad always used to say, you can have 1,000 dads, but you only have one mum. So you need to make sure you do all right, so that when your mum's old, you can make sure your mum's okay, because she's looking after you now.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I just brought up with a very old school mentality.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you brought up on traditional views and values, and which is fine. You get yourself far in life, but like you says, then like when you gain lack of love, I think that then affects you as a man. Yeah. In your own relationships moving forward.
Yeah, I have. My biggest flaw in my personal life is I struggle with relationships. I don't struggle with friendships, but I struggle with relationships.
Yeah.
They never seem to work out for me. Like, there'll just come a point, and I don't know if it's... I used to say the only good thing my mum taught me was to never settle. If she weren't happy, she'd just get divorced and find someone else.
Yeah.
And I respected her for that at the time.
Yeah, what a woman.
Yeah, but now I'm like, it's not really taught me many good lessons though, because if I'd become this period of time where I'm not happy and I'm having trouble at home, fuck it, I'll just wrap it and find something else.
Yeah.
And
it's... Well, I was talking before this, like I've gone through 2 divorces. Like it's hard, like you look at your grandparents, they're married together 50, 60 years, and they get through anything and everything together. Yeah. And now I can wake up, have a bad week and go, I ain't too sure about this marriage and this family life, you know.
It's the world's changed.
What's right? Yeah, you don't know what's right. Like, should you stick it out and be potentially fucking miserable, or?
I always say now, from my personal experience, is that the grass may seem greener, but it's normally artificial.
Yeah,
it's not real. Mm-hmm. When you get there, it's just astroturf, and you fucked your life at that point.
Yeah.
So now I, conduct myself in a manner whereas I'm like, if I do get down, I'm like, mate, this is just us fucking fight or flight here.
Yeah.
And
too old for it now, too old for it.
Yeah. There's only so many fresh starts you get in there.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. Do you think that is connected to your childhood? The lack of affection?
I think so. Yeah, I do think I've struggled with relationships because I haven't really ever had a marker on what a good relationship really was. I'm not saying that's my mum's fault or my dad's fault, you know.
Yeah.
But my mum remarried twice, my dad remarried, and I've also seen, you know, my mum's second marriage fell apart through alcoholism, and abuse or whatever. But still, you like the relationships really lasted. Like when we were kids, my mum lasted with my dad like 4 years, my brother's dad 10 years, the next husband 10 years. You know, like his relationships actually are they just a borrowed period of time?
Yeah.
Is it the whole someone comes in your life for a period of time and then when it changes you just shift fire and switch fire and go somewhere else? Like now I'm in a really happy relationship, which I've never laughed as much and I've never been as happy. But I'm fucking 37. It's took me a long time to find that. Do you know what I mean? And I have along the way, I've definitely like hurt people that didn't deserve to be hurt because I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. I'm fucking leaving this and I'm gonna go and be single and look for pastures new and ruin people's lives. You know what I mean? That we're planning on getting married to me or whatever and stuff like that. And I do, it does come from childhood where, you know, how do you model what a relationship is if you've never really got a decent model to base it off?
Exactly. And you can get taught to be a man, which is all well, but you also need to get taught to be human.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, be soft and let people in and all that. I'm a girl dad, so I've got no choice but to be a big softie.
Yeah.
But I know if I had a boy, I know I'd be different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just...
I think, like, men have it a bit hard, don't they? Whether we like it or not, without getting into the whole that's toxic masculinity or whatever, there is an expectation with blokes. Like, if I had a son who's like 16, I'd be like, what are you planning on doing, lad? Where are you going? What are you doing? You can't live here forever. I left home at 16.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. What are you doing? But then it's different because if you've got a daughter, they never really leave home. They're always visiting, even when they're like, they don't really go anywhere. They might move a few streets away, but they're still over every week seeing you and stuff. So I do think it's different, and I just think it's a flaw that will never change. Men are brought up to be, unfortunately, like you've got to be a man first.
Yeah.
And to be a man first means a disconnect on the whole emotional side of things, at least in your early formative years. Because you look at the lads that got overly loved and overly nurtured and stuff, you look at them now and you're like, you're a bit weak, you. Like, you can't go through struggle.
Yeah, it's hard. You need to find that middle ground. Like, being raised to be a man, it's fine. But then when it comes to when you're having real life issues where your life's hanging in the fucking balance, like, because you're talking about topping yourself.
Yeah.
And you can't explain yourself because you never have and you don't know how to.
Yeah.
And it's fucking, finding that middle ground is hard.
It is. And I don't know how it will change.
Yeah.
Because as much as like our generation will try and change things for our kids, still formatively, I still believe in you have to be a man. And to be a man, you need to be solidified in certain areas. And unfortunately, like, you know, you can't be harmless.
Yeah.
Because if you're harmless, you'll get warts all over.
And then you're a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. A man needs to be a protector.
Yeah. And to do that, there needs to be a certain amount of pain. There has to be a pain point. There has to be, you have to have gone through it. And when you go through it, you get toughened to it, don't you? And that again restarts the cycle. It's like a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah. I mean, you can either have a son who can turn out going down the path you've been down, I've been down in regards to relationships, and it's just no good, or you can have them be a complete walkover, a doormat, and they're not the shadow of a man.
Yeah, and then you feel you failed as a dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know the answers. I don't think there is an answer for it.
Thank fuck I got 3 daughters.
Third one, Broft.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I just need to get them kids to avoid fucking
blokes.
Yeah, men like me. God's justice, that is, man. I've always said God's justice on me for how I've been with women. He gives me 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Funny game, mate. Funny game.
That's going your way.
Funny game you fucking playing. Right, last question about your childhood. The schooling. Obviously, you went to a nice school, affluent school. You could have put your head down, got on with your education, made a lot of good contacts, and you could be, like, do you know what I mean, completely different path. How come you never wanted to get down that route and go, oh, you know what, I'm in a good place here, I can be like him here?
I think because my primary school was very underprivileged, like, and there were a lot of violence. It sounds stupid when you saw there were a lot of violence. Like there were a lot of violence in my primary school. Like we'd have massive fights. Like every Friday there'd be massive fights. Teachers would watch. Back in the days when teachers were on the quad smoking, and they'd watch. And there were a lot of violence. And then within my area as a kid, there were a lot of violence. Like you went across the park. If you walked across the park, you were fighting. If you want to keep your trainers. You know, if you got on a bus and you were at the back, 3 lads would get on. You weren't getting off that bus without getting taxed or getting jumped. You know, so when I got to that school, I didn't really know how to conduct myself or how to express anything other than fucking violence, really. I was always in trouble for fighting. Someone would say something to me, bang, shut up. And that's kind of how I kind of dealt with everything. And I just got into this, again, negative self-serving cycle where it was like, if I had a problem, resolve it with your fists or resolve it with over-dominating somebody else rather than, you know, trying to be a better person, rather than trying to excel using the opportunities that I had. I just was the same person I was at primary school in a secondary school, pissing away a great education. Don't get me wrong, I'm well educated and well spoken, you know, the school was good, but I could have capitalised on that so much better. Like one of the lads in my form as an example, he lived in the house built by the guy who fucking created the tea bag, mate. So you can imagine how much his house was worth. Yeah. And you know, there's guys now that inherited companies from other people, and I could, you know, but looking back now, it just was never even a thought process. I just assumed these guys came from money, come from wealth, and they were going to inherit it. They were going to get looked after off mummy and daddy. I didn't have a mum and dad to look after me. No one was giving me jack shit because we had nothing. So if I wanted it, I had to earn it, or I had to take it, or I had to find it.
There's a lot of envy there.
Yeah. Oh, big time. I was, like kids were walking around in Rockports, and like, as an example, my mum used to give me £20 for school shoes, and she'd go, well, I can buy you schools for 20 quid, school shoes for £20. Everyone in my missus now, so me and my missus reconnected many years later in life. She went to my school. She used to wear Rockports. Everyone wore Rockports. I ain't paying £200 for a pair of shoes, and for loving the money, it was a week's wages to me, that. And you know, everyone had like the right clothes and the right things, and they're going to the right places on holidays, and it was like, during the 6-week holidays, you'd be like, oh, we're going to go and meet at such and such's farm, and he's got some quads. And I'm like, Mum, can I get a lift? No, I'm looking. How am I supposed to get you there? Yeah. So I self-excluded, but I was also like socially excluded because I was fucking poor. Like, we were poor.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that's why a lot of the bullying would come into it? Like, yeah, like just fucking jealous. Yeah. Just to fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh well, he's got a lot of money though, and I'm hungry. Here's a couple of quid for a chip bar.
Yeah. And to them, it is fuck all in reality.
Yeah. But it is bullying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't acknowledge that at the time, but now we're looking back. Yeah, I was a fucking bully.
Yeah.
And I hate bullies now. I fucking detest bullies. Mm-hmm. But it was just an insecurity. These people had stuff that I was never going to have. These people had love and wealth and stuff that I was like, fucking kids were getting dropped off at my school in Bentleys and Rolls Royces and stuff. Yeah. I was getting 2 buses on a free bus pass because we were that poor.
Hey, mate.
Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it was envy, and there was a lot of insecurity there as well. Unfortunately, like, my brothers never came to my school. They went to one much closer to home. And also, there was only me and my best mate from my primary school who went to that school. Yeah. So, luckily, we were in the same form. Otherwise, I'd have been on my own and I'd known no one, where most people, like, we weren't even in the catchment area. So, most people, like, have come with their entire year group from the people they've been in school with before. So, they've already got this bond and this, you know, repartee that I wasn't involved in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then obviously kids would try and take the piss at me because I was fat, so I'd leather them, and then I got known as the kid who just had fights. Yeah. And yeah, it was just what it is. Like, yeah. Can't change it now.
Yeah, just looking at it, like, fucking, obviously hindsight, isn't it? Like, such a great opportunity, like, the amount of contacts you could have made then.
Massively. Yeah. And even just educational wise, like, my school also had a sixth form I could have stayed on with all my peers and gone through college and then easily gone into university and done something different. Mm-hmm. But in the back of my mind, I was always going to be a soldier. My mum, everyone in my family said since I was about 4 or 5, I always was going to be a soldier. Like, well, you know, I'm going to be a soldier. And I'm not going to be an astronaut. I'm going to be a soldier. Yeah. And much later on in life, I actually found out that other than my dad, everyone in my direct line for like the last 150 years has been a soldier. I can date my military lineage back to like the Crimean War. No. So potentially there's a little bit in the old DNA there that with
Fighting man.
So yeah, something like that. Something about service. And my granddad always said to me when we were kids, like, a life spent in the servitude of others is a life well spent. And I think I was just born in the wrong. I'd have been a great Knights Templar or something, me. Just do you know what I mean? Devote my life to a military order. It would be fantastic.
How come when you joined the army, how come you went in as like a private route and not Rupert officer?
So when I got to Harrogate, I actually got asked if I wanted to go and do a test to go to Welbeck, which was like the officers' version of the Army College, because I was too young to go to Sandhurst.
Yeah.
And I was up for it, believe it or not. I thought, yeah, fucking officer. Wee. And then my section commander said, who the fuck do you think you are? I went, what do you mean? What do you mean, Corporal? He's like, who the fuck do you think you can be in charge of me? No, neither the fucking I, Yates, so you're going nowhere. I was like, Roger, I'm going nowhere. And that was the end of my budding officer career shit. They were just like,
She says, do you know what fucking school I went to? You
I'm better educated than you. So yeah, it was literally just that. He was like, do you want to do the entry test to go to Welbeck? You've got to write a personal statement of 1,000 words and you've got to do this test. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then he brought it to my bed space. He's like, who the fuck do you think you are? And I was like, what do you mean, Corporal? He's like, you think you can be an officer? You think you can be in charge of me? And I was like, oh, no, Corporal. He's like, nah, neither the fucking I. Like, and he literally just went, so I'll tell you what I'll do, yeah, so I'll do you a favour. Ripped it up, put it in the bin. He's like, make sure your kit's clean for the morning. Yes, Corporal. And that was the end of it.
Fuck you hell.
Yeah.
My one story.
And he were a big brummy fucker as well. He's about 6'4". Like, a big fucking bruiser he was. And I was like, no, I cannot be your boss. No, I'm alright. I'll stay exactly where I am at the bottom of the pile.
With your training as well, because you mentioned Pecoy. That's the Maroon Berets, isn't it?
Yeah, so we
Paris.
Yeah, so Paris do P Company.
Yeah.
So the Commandos do the All-Land Commandos course. We've got our own selection. A lot of guys come to us that are para-trained. Now my unit has a para-trained section.
Yeah.
They've all done jumps. But at the time, just rivalry. So we used to do the P Company 10 miler faster than they'd do it.
Yeah.
Whether people like to admit that or not. We do the assault course. They'd do 2 rounds, we'd do 3. Stuff like that. So it was just inter-unit rivalry, but because they were based in Catterick and our HQ was in Catterick, whenever we could try and do something to one-up P Company to show that our unit was better than theirs, it was just built in. And that's the ethos of the British Army, like you know, unit pride and stuff. And it's always like you've got to one-up everybody else. So if you've been at Tenerife, I've been at Leavenworth, do you know? Like that's how it was. So we had the instructor on our course, the chief instructor of the PSI, he was ex-SAS, and he was all about, you know, you will show everybody else that you are better than them, or that you're not.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't walk around and go, we're fucking better than you now. Like, it's, at the time, it's just that bravado to get you through the course and to give you something to chops off about in the boozer. Probably get you in a few fights and stuff. But
yeah, one of my pals is a friend of mine from the area. He's been on here.
Yeah.
He was PT.
Oh, logistics guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I've listened to the podcast.
Yeah, Tony Laslett. Yeah, man, yeah. And he obviously went into depth about the training and that. It sounds hard. So the fact you're fucking wiping the floor with them.
Yeah. I'm not going to say we weren't. Cause
fuck off, Tony.
You're going to get a lot of clickbait on this, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, horses for courses. I mean, we have got an airborne section, but it was never really a need for us. I mean, let's be realistic. I'm probably going to upset a few people, but when's the last time any airborne forces jumped in anywhere now? The military has changed itself.
Yeah, of course,
At the time when we were in, it was still the same. Everyone was trying to justify their own living. Paras and the airborne forces trying to justify their living. Commandos are trying to justify their living, trying to justify the government spend and the Ministry of Defence spend, just the same as we were.
Yeah.
So there's always like, oh, we're better than them because of this, and they're better than us because of that, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I have done jumps, I did jumps in the army, but I didn't do P Company. I wasn't winged up. I've done like 12 static line jumps while I was in the mill, but they were all for like fucking adventure training or to prove a concept.
Yeah.
So later on, once I left, the actual unit did send blokes to do P Company just to show that, you know, yeah, we can do P Company. And there is a whole troop of guys in my unit now that are jumps trained.
Yeah, I suppose if it is as well, interviewed a few lads with the budget cuts and like that, they're looking where to cut the budget, so it's like, oh no, we're fucking para-trained now as well, so don't look at us, look at them.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. So it's like, oh, well, we can do that.
Yeah.
So like when you're bidding for jobs, it's like, well, we can do that plus this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, don't get me wrong, massive respect for fucking anyone with a moon beret, same as anyone who's passed a commando course. Like arduous courses, I'm a big believer in if you do an arduous course, do an arduous job.
Mm-hmm.
And I respect anyone who's gone away in the military and done an arduous course so that they can do an arduous job.
Yeah.
Because you trial by fire. Like the good thing about my unit is even the officers that come to my unit have to do the course. And normally, we've all been directional staff on those courses. So they'll get full screws that they're going to be in charge of, that are their DS on the course, fucking beasting them.
Yeah.
Because, well, if you're going to be my boss, you got to fucking earn it. And that is the ethos in my unit. And all of these specialist units now, do you know, like, I've got loads of mates that were, you know, paratrain and jumps train and para-reg and other airborne units, and fucking love them. We all have a good beard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But at the time, the army runs off into unit rivalry.
Yeah, it's what gets you through, isn't it, I suppose?
It's what gets you in fights on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you know, passed out just before your 18th. Go from there.
Yeah, so I got into the unit and we started loads of different training courses. I went straight to the jungle for a confirmatory exercise. So once I passed selection, I went to the jungle for 12 weeks. On this, we were embedded with members of the unit already to see how we got on, because at that point they could say, no, this guy don't fit.
It was the jungle training?
Loved it.
Kenya?
No Belize.
Okay.
So I've done Belize like 3 times, absolutely loved it. Like if you're good at individual soldiering, your individual skills and drills and low level admin, you will thrive in the jungle.
Yeah.
12 hours sleep a night, like you cannot fucking, it's a gift every
Yeah.
day. So went to the jungle, and then my unit doesn't deploy as units, it deploys as patrols. So they've been in every operation Herrick, Afghanistan, from Herrick 4 until Herrick 17, I think, or 18, whichever the one was where they became a peacekeeping role, we then stopped deploying.
Yeah.
So you've got to go and do loads of different courses. So I went away and did like heavy weapons. I did a really advanced force medics course with a 2-week hospital placement. So I went to Middlesbrough A&E for 2 weeks to get hands-on treating casualties before we went to Afghanistan and stuff. Then my unit deployed as a battery on Herrick 7 as a brigade reconnaissance force, but I didn't go. We'd done an arduous course before that as a unit, and we'd done a CFT, the cop course, 10 mile. You finish it all on a load of shingle, and we'd all been on the piss the night before. We'd been told not to, but we'd been told not to before. And I came in 47 seconds over the time for my CFT, and they fucked me off.
Yeah.
They made me stay in rear party. So people came in after me, but I was the lowest rank, and there was a point that needed to be proven. So I, which turned out to be a stroke of luck really, I was a gunner, as in I was 50 cal gunner in a Wimmick, because we were doing brigade reconnaissance force, so driving through the desert in stripped down Land Rovers with 50 caliber machine guns mounted and grenade machine guns mounted. So I got fucked off because I'd failed a CFT, put on rear party, and I were a piece of shit, and then everyone got to call me a piece of shit and all that kind of. Again, other people failed, but it was just me who got it on the neck because I was the youngest. And the guy who replaced me actually got killed. So the vehicle that I was in, like my friend Jack, they got hit with IEDs and he got killed. So if I hadn't failed, then I would have been dead.
Yeah, so because you come in 47 seconds too slow.
I missed a full tour.
Yeah.
And then all the boys give me shit forever for it. Still, you didn't go on Eric 7 though, yes, did you? Like, it's a joke, it's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah.
it was a unit proving a point, but doing it in its more severe way. But that's what my unit was like. Like, excellence and elitism is like if you go on a course in my unit, you don't come top student, you're in the shit.
Yeah.
Blokes aren't worried about coming back and going, I've passed. They're worried about coming back and saying, I've come top student. And if there's 3 of you, they expect you to come first, second, and third.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an easy shot across the bows.
Yeah.
He's fucking failed it. Bump. You ain't going on tour. And that's all anyone in my unit wants you to go on tour.
Yeah, of course.
So
Well, you did the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reality?
So I stayed on rear party for that, which was shit. The boys give me fucking shit when they came back as well. Justifiably, I failed it, my own fucking fault. That CFT is notoriously hard. Still to this day, I think about it now and I'm like, fucking hell, it's so hard. So carried on continuation training, and then I was deployed on Herrick 11 as a battlefield casualty replacement. So I was due to deploy on Herrick 12 because we'd split down into teams at this point, and each team's been allotted a tour. So it's like 3 teams per tour. So I was waiting to go on Herrick 12, but one of the guys had been hit on Herrick 11. So I got a phone call, pop up to the Ryan Yates, you need to have word with you, come up. Listen mate, we know you missed Herrick 7, we know you've been fucking moaning about it. This has happened. We're going to deploy you early. You're going to go out and do Heretic 11. So I got the last 5 months of that tour.
How was that before, like, deploying, knowing, like, especially because you missed the fucking deployment beforehand, somebody got killed in your place, and now you knowing, now I'm actually going to the shit?
So I never really thought about, obviously I thought about Jack as in he was with my pal, and I was on rear party, so I had to box his fucking room up and stuff like that with a couple of other lads. But I didn't really think, all I thought was at the time, fucking hell, my pal that had been hit on Heretic 11, he was a good pal of mine. And I was like, fucking hell, and it was more processing the fact that he'd been hit. He ended up like losing both his legs and half his hand. So I was like, fucking hell. And I only got 2 weeks notice, so there isn't much time. It's like, right, you're going to deploy in 2 weeks. Between then and now, you've got to do this, and this to get these ticks in the boxes. So you've got to go on the ranges, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. End up with a hire car, and I was just bouncing around, going getting ticks in the boxes so that I could actually deploy on tour. Didn't really get time to think about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to deploy to Wishton at the time, and the team in Wishton I knew really, really well, because my mate who'd been hit was in a different team in Sangin, but they'd moved someone from Wishton to Sangin because Sangin was more kinetic at the time. So they were moving him down to go to the really hot AO and putting me in, giving me time to integrate with the team in Wishton. So in the time it took me to get from the UK to Afghanistan, the guy who had replaced my mate had been shot.
Fucking hell.
So they went, right mate, you're going to Sangin. So I was like, so then ended up being the battlefield casualty replacement for a battlefield casualty replacement. So when I got there, I was a bit like, fucking hell.
It's a cursed place.
And they were like, yo, that's your bed space, that's where like Simo and George were as well. And I'm like, oh fuck. And yeah, so that was a bit eye-opening because I'm thinking, fucking hell, the last two people that have had this job are fucking down.
Yeah.
But, it's a split-second thought. You ain't got time when you're on tour. You're so busy. There's so much coming at you. And it was my first tour. But these boys had already been on the ground at about 10 weeks maybe at this point. Maybe it took longer. So then you're like, fucking hell, I just got to deliver on my job. I've got to deliver on the job role. I've got to do
day one.
Yeah, I've got to do like what the boys were doing to at least their standard. And I don't know what standard they were delivering because I weren't on tour. So all I knew is my reputation, the unit reputation, and the reputation of my friends was all on the line. So I just had to fucking absorb everything and deliver. And that's all I was, deliver. I got into Inkerman, and I was only in Inkerman 3 days, and like, right, you're going out into the PBs. So I went out into patrol bases in Sangin on Heretic 11, and that was one of the most kinetic tours the British Army's experienced in Afghanistan. I was attached to a Air Company 4 rifles, and I think we ended up with like 16 dead, 48 seriously injured.
How old was you at this point?
21.
21.
So we went to PBs. I took over. I took over in one of the PBs, like doing my job. Then the medic got hit, and there was no medic, so then I doubled up as his role as well because I'd done a lot of med training.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went from, it was a really weird scenario. So I got into the PB 2 or 3 weeks before the medic was hit. I've gone down, hello mate, if you need any help, I've done this med course, I've done that med course, because the guy who was in charge of me was like, go down and make yourself useful. You've got to bed in with these guys really, really quickly because they've all gelled. Because they'd all had like 6 to 9 months training before they've gone on tour. So he's like, go and make yourself useful, like don't be a fucking loser and fucking brown nosing, but like go and speak to the med. If you're good at med stuff, go and speak to him and say, if you need anything mate, just get on the radio whenever there's like a mass cas or whatever. So I popped down. So what started happening is whenever we got casualties in, if they were like local nationals and stuff, he'd call me down and he would get me to treat the casualties and he would watch me treat them.
Yeah.
So then he's like, yeah mate, that's what you're doing. You're like, no, you need to do it like this, or you need to do it like that. Do you know what I mean? So he got on top of me for like 3 weeks. So when he got hit, I did the same to the other lads. Right, who's the patrol medics here? Right, if I get a mass cas, you need to be down here. And then I did the same for them. So I'd go out on patrol and do my job, or I'd go out on patrol and do the medic job if there was no med stuff.
Yeah.
And that tour's probably the hardest tour of my career. It was definitely the most kinetic. I think combined, I treated 46 casualties.
Fucking
not just British national, local nationals, AMP, ANA, civilians as well, kids, women. Not so many women to be fair because they don't like bringing them into the PBs, but definitely a lot of local nationals, Brit forces. we lost. I personally, like, 2 of my good mates that I'd made friends with on that tour were killed. A couple of us were injured, and we'd done some real fucking war fighting, which is, you know, what I wanted. That's what I joined the army for.
Job, yeah.
But I always remember before I went on tour, my mate Si, he was like, "You ready?" I'm like, fucking buzzing for it, Si. He's like, "Beware what you wish for, Yates." I was like, "Sure, man, fucking, don't ruin it for me." And I get it now. Like, when I came home from that tour, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, beware what you wish for, because you just might get it. And we had a really hard tour, and I've got so much respect for the blokes I was on that tour with. Like, we were down to 2 litres of drinking water per man per day in the fucking summer because the resuppliers kept getting hit.
Yeah.
And you were going out on doing patrols for 3 or 4 hours, and you were sweating out twice as much as you were drinking. We were always underfed, always under dehydrated, undermanned. Sometimes we were doing like 2 hours on, 2 hours off at night, and then going on patrols. We had some really bad incidences. Done some fucking, you know, looking back now, it's fucking cool, but, you know, we were hit big time on a few occasions, and we lost some good guys, and we had a lot of guys who were really injured doing the job. But again, I got to experience war on war's level, and that's what I wanted, and I still think that's one of the best attributes I can say for myself, is that, you know, I didn't just experience a touch of it, I fucking was immersed in it, and, you know, I came out the other end of it, as rough as it was.
How was it for you being 21, surrounded by war, and you're treating this many casualties? Like, as a young fucking lad, how are you processing that?
To be honest, it's mad, because I was a young lad, but because I was attached arm and because I was this unit, people assumed, 1, I was older than I was, and 2, I was more experienced than I was. So guys would be coming to me asking me stuff, and I'd be telling them, like, "Oh yeah, do this, I'll do that, do the other," and they're assuming that I've learned that through life experience or something. But nah, it's what Mac told me a week ago. I'm just regurgitating it to you. And people are like, "How old are you? It's 25, 26. I'm like, "No, I'm 21. But then the lads are younger than me. The lads are like 18, 19. The face of warfighters was so young at the time. So I think in the last PB I finished up in, there was only 4 people older than me.
Fucking hell.
We were kids, man.
Yeah.
So you don't know, because actually, well, I'm a bit like, oh, well, I've done 4 years or whatever at this point. And he's done, like, you know, he's done a year. So, I am senior, so I've got to give him some wealth of knowledge, or I've got to deliver on some kind of experience, because I've at least been in the machine a bit longer than he has.
Yeah.
So you don't really get time to feel like you're deaf or overwhelmed, because it is just non-stop. It happens so much. So all you do notice is days when nothing happens. Yeah, fucking hell, been an easy day today.
Yeah.
You don't really get time to think, fucking hell, or like you're in your bed and then you hear a fucking massive explosion, and then you run into the gate and fucking civilians are getting dragged in because they've driven over an ID, and you're fucking patching the faces up or whatever. You don't think. There's just no time.
It's afterwards.
Yeah,
Which we will come to. Being under contact for the first time, what was that like?
Fucking terrifying. Anyone who says that they fucking did some cool John Wick shit, you're an outright liar. First time I was under contact, I didn't even realise I was under contact, so I was patrolling. It was my first ever patrol. Rounds cracked over the top of us, everyone dropped a knee, so I dropped a knee, and I'm thinking, what's next? And I've turned to my up or Daz, I'm like, what's next? He goes, no, right, this is it. The lead of the call sign's under contact. We're just waiting to move into contact or move out of contact. Oh, so what do we do? So, well, can you see the enemy? No. Well, we just wait. They're shooting at us. Yeah, the guys at the front are shooting at them.
Fucking hell.
You're like, what? Yeah. Well, we can't shoot someone we can't see yet, so you just wait here. And you're just there on your knee waiting, and the guys at the front of the call sign that have got eyes on the firing point or the murder roll or the fucking shooter is doing a bit back. But you're at the back of the call sign or whatever, like, you can't do jack shit. You're just watching your arcs, making sure no one's gonna like ping you from the rear or try and flank you or whatever. So I mean, my first week in that PB, I was in contact every day. I was in one of the first grenade attacks in Sangin. We was in a PB and some local walked past and threw 3 Russian pineapple grenades over the wall and fucking ran off. I was like, we were on fucking rooftop doing securing a crossing for water resupply, and we spent like 12 hours then like pinned down from multiple firing points, and we were just laying on the roof like boys are laughing, drinking brews, because we can't fucking do anything, can't put your head up.
Kind of fuck all.
Yeah. Like, we'll wait till we've got some helicopters, some air assets to come in, and then they'll do something like, I'm like, is this it? I'm like, yeah, and then every now and then like the top of the roof would just go and dust, they just let you know they're still there.
Yeah.
And the boys down there be like, you alright, do you need anything, do you need any scran? And they just throw a bit of food up or whatever. And you're just laying these court can roofs like, and then they go, right, we've got their assets on, and then everyone would do like a sausage roll or move position, their assets would start, and then we'd start and get off the roof or whatever.
Yeah. What's the correct term? Is it tactical restraints?
Courageous restraint.
That's the fucker.
Yeah, fucking.
That's the fucker.
Yeah, courageous restraint.
That's it.
It really fucking tied our hands to be fair.
Yeah.
So when I started Herrick 11, we were under card 429 Alpha, which is warfighting rules of engagement. And that changed towards the end of the tour to courageous restraint, which is like you're supposed to give warning shots and stuff like that, which does make your life a lot harder because under courageous restraint, you can know someone's a shitbag, but if they're like not doing anything, there's fuck all you can do about it.
Yeah.
And it does really tie your hands, and it did put guys' lives at risk, courageous restraint, as much as people might want to say we're winning hearts and minds and stuff like that. Like, those guys trying to win hearts and minds aren't the guys living like an
On the
RPB.
front line, yeah.
Our PB, we just gone into a main road and took over a PB, moved someone out, paid them for it. We had Afghans on either side of us.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of a fucking street. We were cut off and surrounded effectively. So all these people that are saying like, you know, oh, yeah, courageous restraint and you want to win hearts and minds, and there's loads of propaganda that come down. Oh, if you can go to a shore or like take your helmets off in the shore and stuff. Oh, fuck off. Wear your soft hats if you want. No.
Yeah.
But the guys that make these rules aren't the guys that are on the ground. So yeah, we had some really kinetic situations. I was in a massive engagement when my friend Tom died on Herrick 11, and we were under fire for like 12 and a half hours. And Afghans were like charging the gate, getting hit, and then like fucking falling on the razor wire, and then they were using their own mates to springboard over the razor wire to try and get a bit closer to camp. We were like clacking claymores, UGLs. We had fucking air assets stacked up like it was a proper. It was on the TV over here actually. It was a concentrated camp attack. Like I think it was the first time in RAO they probably thought we can fucking take that place up there, because our camp was only where an old Russian camp was before.
Yeah.
The Russians had put the foundations in the trench system, and we just built on it.
Yeah, and the Russians didn't last too long, did they, in Afghan?
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, it were Herrick 11 for anyone who was on it. Well, most people say it was like. I always say like I left my innocence in Herrick 11.
Yeah.
Like I went to. There's that like they went to war with the joys of battle, didn't they, or something like that. And I went buzzing for it, and when I got it and I came home, I realised I grew up. It's not a fucking game. It's a business, and you have to be a subject matter expert in your business if you want to live.
Yeah, of course. With obviously fighting, you've got a uniform on. If I'm out to kill a British soldier, I know exactly what you look like. Yeah. You've got a nice little base as well. You drive nice green fucking Humvees. And obviously you're fighting an invisible enemy in reality. Yeah. What's that like? Can you trust anyone?
No, you never trust anybody. Like you don't trust any of the locals. Like you don't trust them. Like you'll get good locals that'll come and say, "Oh, such and such is Taliban," and he just wants to nick their fucking house.
Yeah.
Or he wants their fucking fields that they've got poppy in. You can't trust fucking anyone. You don't trust like your interpreters and stuff. You trust them to a degree, but you've still got to rein them in, because you like say this and then they're talking for a while and you're like, what the fuck are you saying? Are you saying exactly what I told you to say? Oh no, I'm going to ring this guy. Who are you ringing him? Oh, he's the leader of the Taliban. How the fuck have you got his number? Oh, he's my uncle. How the fuck have you got this job? You know, so no, you don't trust anybody. Like, don't get me wrong, I've worked with ANA and the Tiger teams.
Yeah.
And they were good guys. But I wouldn't go to sleep next to them. You know what I mean? They had their own compounds and stuff like that.
I've heard that.
They kept their end, we kept our end. You know, there's always a level of distrust, because there is sometimes, you know, ANP opening up on Brit forces and stuff like that. It happened on my tour. There was a checkpoint where a load of ANP, Afghan National Police, killed a load of blokes and stuff. You don't fucking trust them as far as you can throw them. Why would you? Technically, you're an invading force, aren't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know the difference. You say they look at you. You know the people that are just fucking sucking it up because you're in their area, and you know the guys that fucking hate you, and you can see the way they look at you, and you know like, oh, he's a fighting age male, or you know that's a little kid. Give the kid sweets and stuff and fucking Lumi pens or whatever. Yeah. Bottles of water, and then you'll see like a bloke fucking taking it off him, and you'll think, right, he's a shitbag. Ping that compound number and we'll keep eyes on him. Yeah. You know, can't trust them.
It's scary though, isn't it? Like, you're working alongside like the Afghan National Police and their army, training them, kitting them out, sharing camps with them, and it could be the fucking enemy within. It's literally a Trojan horse.
Yeah. Yeah, but then at the other side of it, and like, you know, give credit where it's due. Like, I've been in some contacts where the Afghan National Army guys have been walking in fucking rounds, pinging all around them like they're immortal, firing fucking RPGs and then holding their hands out to get another one to fire another one, and the commanders are there with like multiple pistols under their arms, firing stuff, and they've got like a fucking weapons carrier. Give me something else, and you know, and you've got them kind of guys as well. So it's not that they're all fucking dodge. It's just that you can't trust none of them.
Of course, yeah.
And even the good ones, you can't trust the training because they do some fucking mad shit, mate.
Yeah.
I've seen guys like pull IEDs out of the ground. It's all right, just fucking pull it out. What do you want me to do with this? Fucking put it down. Like, what? We have a full team of guys that come and tactically get rid of that. Like, I fucking found this. Like, and they do.
Yeah, I've heard some funny stories of the Afghan army, especially the commandos. I've heard some hilarious stories.
They are a funny breed. But, you know, they're there defending the country, and you've got to give them that mutual respect for that.
Of course, because, do you know what I mean? Like, the British Army are going to go home one day, and just like they are left there to fend for themselves. And
that's what happened.
Yeah. The threat of IEDs, it's like it's unfair. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to fucking kill me, have it out with me.
Yeah.
Not put some on the ground, I'm going to fucking stand on you cunts.
Yeah, all the boys used to prefer it when it was a straight up gunfight. All the boys would prefer that.
It's on your terms then, isn't it?
Yeah, even if it's on their terms and they start it, it's even.
Yeah,
it's,
better man wins.
Yeah, but you know, for them, it was just an easy way of like, I suppose they don't have their assets. But the hardest part with the IEDs and stuff is when you watch some fucker put it in, and he stood there with like 3 kids, and you can't drill him, because he's 3 kids with him.
Yeah.
And you watch him put it in, and then you know that there's going to have to be an operation now to go and remove that, and he fucking knows it, which means his mates fucking know it. So everyone's waiting for that, for the penultimate gunfight that's going to come.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like, you just can't do stuff courageous, restraint, this and that, you know. And they're not stupid. They will walk down the fucking road with a pressure plate, hold the hand of a kid. Fuck all you can do.
Yeah.
And you'll see him on cameras and stuff, and you're like, you piece of shit. And you know, right, this compound, mark and avoid, or we'll have to get the RESA team in or whatever to come in and fucking disarm that. That's putting more lives at risk. And there needs to be like 3 or 4 call signs on the ground then to secure this area so they can get in with all their kit to, you know, deactivate that device, demine that device. And then at this point, they've already laid other stuff out in secondary and tertiary positions because they know that that's your SOPs. Because all they do is watch and learn. And
of course,
they're like a hybrid fighting force. They see what you do. First time you do something that they don't experience before, they set up the exact same position again, the exact same thing, and then they watch and they learn. And they change the tactics.
Yeah. Do you rate them as a fighting force?
I think it's hard not to, because if you look at it, I mean, they fucking held Russia.
With what they've got, yeah,
They
exactly.
held Russia and like the Mujahideen and stuff, and now you can say they were funded by the CIA back in the day and whatever, and whoever was funding the Taliban at the time when we were there. But inevitably, they have always fought far superior forces with far more technological advancements than what they've got, and they're still there.
They withstand it, don't they? They can take.
They do call
back
Afghanistan the graveyard of armies.
Yeah.
Like, even dating back to like Alexander's days. You know, there's a famous saying in Afghanistan, it's that you wear all the watches, but we've got all the time.
Yeah.
Because they just have to outwait you.
And that's exactly what they did. They played a serious long game. Like you said, with the Russians in the 80s, obviously went in with the big metal tanks and all that, and they just fucking got their arses handed to them.
Yeah. So you can't not, you've got to have a good due respect for them.
Yeah.
You do. As a guerrilla force, dealing with what they've got.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
They can't shoot worth a piss, do you know what I mean? Can't shoot straight, but, you know, I've seen stuff where they'll make, like, you know, improvised mortars with, like, water containers for timers and stuff, and you think, fucking ingenious. Yeah. It's clever thinking. And then the other time you look at something and think, who the fuck came up with that thing? So it's a weird one. You can always tell when, if you're, depending on what kind of you've been hit by an ambush or whatever, how it's gone. You can always, we used to call them like $10 Taliban, and those are like the farmers that are being paid that day rate for a scrap, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
From them and the die-hard fucking
fanatics.
Yeah, hardliners. You know the difference. They carry themselves differently. The weapon systems are clean. They carry themselves differently. Blokes around them are different.
Yeah.
You always know the difference from that young man who's got a fucking AK and 3 mags in his fucking chicken hut.
Yeah.
And he gets a phone call and told, right, you're fighting tomorrow. You always know the difference.
What about, because I've spoke about this as well, your experience, if there is any, or just your opinion, on foreign fighters coming in and fighting with them, with the Taliban?
Yeah, so we definitely had experiences of that. There was a really fucking good sniper on Herrick 11 that was drilling blokes. And the rumour mill, obviously there's no way of us knowing, but the rumour mill is that he was IRA. And it would have been well known that there was an IRA shooter in that had been training guys up. Likewise, there was reports of in RAO what they called like a kill team that they thought were Chechen, and they were wearing MVGs, using using kit that was not fucking used by the local nationals at the time. They didn't fucking have that kind of experience. So you've got that on one side, and then like, mate, we fucking pulled guys at checkpoints and they've got Aston Villa tattoos on their legs. You know, who the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
And they just gone on a holiday to Pakistan and jumped over and thought they'd have a crack. Like, so there's two echelons of it. There's two levels of it. There's like professional fighters that have got a professional grievance with the British Army, and then you've got people potentially from back here, well, definitely from back here, that travel over for like a little fucking jolly.
Joining the war.
Yeah, do a little bit for a couple of weeks and then come home and tell everyone all the cool stories about how they fought the British Army.
You had that Jihadi John.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was beheading the Americans. British national, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard, like, how would that, yeah.
But again, you can't dial too much into it, because then you're just seeing enemies everywhere, aren't you?
And that's with my paranoia, which we've gone through.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'd be like.
And we are a multicultural society now, so I mean, just to start that, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What would the country? It'd be civil war, and if you started looking at that.
Of course, yeah.
There were 100%. I remember one of the lads. There was a guy who was laying IEDs in RAO, and we always used to see footprints, and there was a specific night trainer. And one of the lads was one of these. There's a lot of them in the army. You get a lot of guys who get OCD and stuff. This lad was like a fucking trainer collector and a spotter. He took pictures, went home on R&R, and he found out which exact night trainer had that exact soul. Brought pictures back, give it to the incel, and then that guy who wore those trainers got lifted in a taxi at a vehicle checkpoint.
Okay, now.
And they were like, what are you doing here? Who are you? Oh, I'm visiting family. Oh, okay. How long have you been here? Let's have a little chat. And he got lifted, bagged and tagged, and then got sent off for a questioning.
Yeah, it's like, but
yeah,
what can you do?
Like, well, he got pinged. He had these trainers on, and there's not like they were fucking pretty much brand new. We had seen obvious footprints in like the sand and the debris around where IEDs had been placed with this specific soul. This lad had gone off his own back and researched it, brought back what the trainers looked like, sent pictures out across the AO, and then a normal VCP, like you stop vehicles sometimes, you tactically ask people questions like, where are you going? Such and such a place, okay. And you obviously at this point you've got them out of the car, and it's like, how much fuel have you got in the car? Well, if you're going all that way, why have you not got enough fuel in the car?
Yeah.
So you would ping people out anyway to try and catch them out, and it just so happened that this VCP, they pulled this guy at the back of a taxi, and he had these exact night trainers on that this guy had sourced was the guy behind the fucking IDs. And then when they did testing on him for residue on his hands, explosive residue on his hands, boom, arrest him.
You know.
But you were a foreign fighter, you come from the UK.
Yeah, I gathered that. Obviously, I don't want to talk about the war so much. Obviously, interesting stuff. People love it, and I do have a big interest in it as well.
Yeah.
What about like the women with put this ID on, have a little walk over there?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't experience too much of that in my AO, to be fair.
But it happens though, doesn't it?
It does a lot, yeah. The worst one's like kids getting used and manipulated and fucking, in some cases, abused. I think that's the hardest thing for any British soldier to deal with, because a lot of guys have fucking got kids and stuff, and then like, you know, you see fucking blokes abusing kids, and you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of lads struggle with that. It's like, I've got fucking kids at home. That lad's my son's age, and he's fucking raping him.
Yeah.
But you can't do fuck all. I mean, the suicide threat is always massive in Afghanistan. I mean, we were there at one point, and they were packing plastic explosives into donkeys' arseholes and fucking leading them up to camps to try and breach the walls.
Okay, now.
And then They're clever fuckers at what
Yeah,
they do.
of course, yeah.
But like stuff with the women and fucking kids, especially female kids, are just treated like fucking cattle, mate. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bad.
Because that's stuff you don't see completely, like the press, and then obviously how the media is nowadays. It's like the British Army are child killers and all that. And obviously, that's never the fucking case. I've never heard about that. Like the child abuse, nothing.
There's loads of it. Like most don't. We don't fucking talk about it because there's nothing you can do about it, and you're a bit ashamed. You can't really do anything about it. But there's loads like loads like fucking guys raping fucking male lads and stuff, and fucking like young girls. 12 getting married off to fucking 50-odd-year-old guys. And not just
you can't even shoot back when you're getting shot at, never mind stopping that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're just going to say it's their way of life, leave them to it.
Yeah.
But it is a fucking crying shame.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. Especially, like I said, the guys who've got kids really struggle with it.
Yeah. So on this first tour, with obviously whatever you're comfortable with right now, what's the worst thing you've seen?
I think the most impacting for me was my friend Tom got killed, and I had to make a decision on whether or not I was going to go and try and save his life or do my job, and I chose to do my job. And on my bad days of PTSD, then I view it as I left my friend to die on a rooftop. On my good days where I'm not having a bad day of PTSD, I realised that there's only me and the PB at the time that could do my job, and if I wasn't bringing in fire from artillery pieces and controlling her assets and stuff like that, then the whole camp might have been overrun.
Yeah.
But it's hard on the bad days to think, well, you left your mate to die on a rooftop. And there was a penultimate decision. He got hit, come over the radio, man down, keel's down. And I was like, I'm going to go. And my mate's like, what are you doing? So I'm going to go out, Tom. He's like, there's a medic for that. I'm like, but I'm here. And he's like, only you can do your job. Do your fucking job. And I have to live with the consequences of that.
Yeah, so your pal's been hit, but you're directing fire, calling in airstrikes and air cover and all that thing. Obviously, you're saving everyone's life at that moment in time. But you, tunnel vision, I need to go and save my mate.
Yeah.
And that fucking stays with you.
Yeah, because you have to make that call. Because I could have said no. I could have gone. And then I suppose the other was, we're in a compound. We've been on 2 hours on, 2 hours off for a few days. Everyone was fucked. I was gone out on the ground as med cover, and we just got into a compound and we were clearing it for like a 4-day op. And a couple of lads, Sergeant Pollitt, they were clearing the compound with a Valen, making sure it was clear of IEDs. I'd literally just got my fucking head on my burger and I'm like, I'm gonna get a fucking hours gone here because we're breaking into normal day routine. And the fucking world erupted around us, and there's this massive explosion, and everyone's shouting medic, medic, and I'm like half asleep and going medic, and I'm like shit, I'm the medic. So I fucking grabbed my day sack, run down like out of this, we're in like a huge compound, and I'd gone into like the little inhabitant quarters where they kind of slept and stuff. So I've run out, and there was a full wall compound, and now this wall and this wall is gone. Rounds are cracking in.
Yeah.
And there's fucking 2 guys that were supposed to be at the bottom that no one can see. So I'm like, fuck, running. And I remember, I was like, where the fuck's the Valen lane? Where's the Barmer lane? And all the fucking maps, so when you're doing your Valen, you put markers out to show what's been cleared. So you know it's safe of IDs. It had gone.
Yeah.
And obviously I know someone's just stepped on something about 25 metres away from me. And I don't know what's clear and what's not. And I can hear the screaming, and I'm like, fuck. So I'm just fucking running, and I'm like, fucking, I remember saying, God help me. And I'm not even religious. It was just something, and I got there, and like the fucking desert, like the mud and that had turned, the ground, which is like hard soil, had turned to fucking mud, because Pollitt had lost both his legs, and he was like buried, and he was fucking screaming. And I remember I worked in a butcher's as a kid, and I'll never forget, like the smell of, like the hot flesh hanging. Like I remember vividly, he'd lost one leg completely, and then there was like on one of his stumps was just all the skin from what should have been below the knee.
Yeah.
And he's fucking screaming, and there's claret going everywhere. I remember looking at it, going in, starting putting a tourniquet on, and I thought, this is just like when we used to skin pigs at a butcher's. And it like split second took me back to being a kid.
Yeah.
In butchers when we used to like skin pigs, or when you'd be doing stuff and like the smell of meat, and I'll never forget it. It was just like you could smell hot, burnt skin, and like to this day, I struggle. I can't have like be around. I associate with like pepperoni, and I can't be around like cooked pepperoni. It just brings it back to me. And he's fucking screaming. Rounds are coming in, and then I'm like, where's the other lad? So we assumed at this point that he's been like fucking vaporised. I'm in. A couple of guys come down behind me, tourniqueting him up, getting a line ready to put fluids into him and stuff. He's fucking screaming, pain relief, all that kind of stuff. And someone goes, Sardi's out there, and basically they both come into the compound. They've been searching it in the bottom corner, stepped on something. One lad had been blown through the wall and gone, but as the wall was coming down, and then the other lad took the brunt of the detonation, and he'd lost his legs. And then rounds are falling in and around Sarge outside, and he's not moving. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm the closest person there, so the lads, I'm like, right, carry on doing this. But like, there's like three or four of us now around Polly doing stuff. I'm like, fuck. I don't know if I go and get him. So then I fucking run out, and there's fucking splash rounds on there, and I'm gonna fucking die now. And I remember going, I'm gonna fucking die now. And then I fucking like grabbed, he was face down. So I turned him around expecting to see like fucking nothing. And then like, I laughed my head off. I turned around and he just goes, ugh, and he was fucking completely fine. The little bastard. Yeah. He had a couple of cuts and bruises, nothing. He'd been blown through a wall, this massive thing, rounds pinging all around him. He was just completely unconscious. And as I've turned him round, he's come back around like, what the fuck? And I'm like, fucking threw him over my shoulder and then run back into the compound. And we carried on doing that. And then we had to do a fighting extract from there. I ended up having to use a lasm to blow a hole through a wall because we couldn't get out of the compound the way we got in because it pinged us. We did a full fighting withdrawal. Pollitt lived, obviously tragically lost his legs, but that was one of the worst ones for me because I'd gone from this state of being asleep to literally all hell was breaking loose around me, and I was the person who needed to fix everything. Yeah. And in that, even though I treat casualties and stuff at that point, running down that barman lane, not knowing what was safe, what wasn't, I just felt so out of my fucking depth it was untrue. And it's just down to the pure professionalism of the British Army, muscle memory, right, catch up for amputation, bump, right, knee on the femoral artery, get your fucking tourniquets out. And I just started going through my training, and my training just come back to me, and even though logically I couldn't think straight, and I was like, this fucking situation was so bad, I was just moving without thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, fortunately those guys survived, and then we got back to the PB and everyone was like, just fucking mentally exhausted, physically exhausted as well. You know, running, fighting extract and all that kind of stuff, and carrying stretchers with fucking fluids and that. We got into the compound and then we'd done like the debrief and stuff, and I'm just fucking sat there. And this was the first time. So this was the first time I'd been involved in an incident with big casualties that were British forces. Up until that point, it had been minor casualties, guys that very comfortably lived. You know, like guys shot through the tricep or shot through the calf, or blown up, but they were okay. They were just, you needed to go back to Bastion or whatever. Or I dealt with like big casualties with locals. But this was the first time like I was dealing with guys that I'd become friends with. Mm-hmm. And it was very early on into the tour. I think I'd only been on the ground about maybe 6-7 weeks at this point. And like Tom died much later than that. So I got a bit hardened to it by that point. But I come back and I was like, fuck. And I just remember like being so drained. And like, fucking hell. And then I noticed there was like a patrol getting ready, and the team lead, the controller at the time, Butch, he come over and he's like, have you done what you need to do? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, gotta go back out. I was like, what? And he's like, you've got a mission to do, mate. Like, gotta go back out. And I was like, fuck. Like, they know where we are, they've just battered us. Like, and I was just overwhelmed with fucking fear, mate. I was like, fuck. And then I was like looking, and he says to me, listen, I'm going. You don't have to come. I won't think nothing less of you if you don't come. You've got to make a decision for yourself. You've got to decide what kind of man you want to be. And you've got to live your decision. Let me know what you're doing. And I was just sat there and I just thought, like, this is one of those moments in your life where the decisions matter about who you're going to be for the rest of your life. And I was like fucking terrified, but I was like, right, rebombing my magazines up, right, fresh radio battery on, 20 minutes later, right, I'm good to go. Are you good to go? I'm good to go.
I think in that situation you'd have always gone. Yeah. But it's a cunt's move going, you know, I'm good regardless, and it's, you know, depends the kind of man you're going to be. That fucking sounds.
I think, like,
Guilt.
at the time, because of what had gone on, I don't think I thought we were going to go back out and do that.
Of course, yeah.
I just thought, right, that's been canned. We're going to have to look at this from another angle, or we'll go out on a different day. Not we're going to walk straight out of camp. Genuinely, mate, I bet it weren't 45 minutes from getting the casualties casevaced out on a helicopter to me being back in a call sign, back in the green zone, and we looped round and went onto the adjacent compound on the other side of the road. Like, it's not like we weren't very hard to fucking find, do you know what I mean? And I remember patrolling there thinking, we're gonna get killed now. Like, they're well onto us.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah, and because, do you know what? Like, when they are. Like, they've got it pinned down, do you know? When they get it right, the Taliban, they get it right.
Yeah.
And it's never just like, it's never small. You'll get like shooting scoots and stuff like that, but when you get hit like that, you get hit.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of effort into it.
Yeah. They knew the first call sign that went in there that there was IDs in there. So when they seen us, we used to call it Grand Nationaling, going over the walls with ladders. When they seen us Grand Nationaling towards that, they must have thought it was fucking Christmas. On the blower, yeah. Fucking durka, get your fucking stuff. They're going into that compound. And they knew at some point someone would stand on it, because you've got to clear it. Our SOPs are you clear the entire area. So they knew the likelihood of it getting detonated then, or in and around the time that we'd occupied it getting detonated. Yeah. So they were just waiting, and as soon as it detonated, multiple fire points opened up, like crack and thump from everywhere, and we were like, oh, we've been fucking dicked here big time.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, they're underrated, but when fucking...
Yeah, when it goes well for them, it goes well.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from them.
Yeah. So you finish your first tour.
Yeah.
Go back home. How were you after your first tour? Within yourself?
I noticed a change in myself. I was a lot angrier and I was a lot colder than I was previously. I had a couple of incidences within about 2 days of being home. I got my youngest brother in a rear naked chokehold, and I was going to kill him because he lost my room keys to my room in camp. For some reason, he'd been using my house keys that I'd left at home because I deployed as a battle for casualty replacement. Left all my stuff at home. Took my hire car, went from mine in Bolton, which is like kind of on the way to Bryce Norton, but not. I drove straight to Bryce and dumped a hire car, so I'd stopped at home first, said my goodbyes and that, and I think I deployed on it was like a Boxing Day. So I think I'd gone home, I'd like Christmas Day at home, and I was going to go, so I left my house keys with my room keys, and those keys are fire door keys, and you're always told you're in the fucking shit if you lose these. They're 50 quid a key, So I come home and I was like, where's my keys? And my mum was like, oh, he's been borrowing them. I was like, alright, cool. So I'm like, mate, I need them keys. Yeah, I'm coming back. And I was home for like 2 days before I had to go back to camp. Just a long weekend off. And then we go back, do the whole decompression thing, and then you get a pottle. And I was waiting to go back to camp, and I'm like, where the fuck is he? I'm ringing him. He comes in the house, where's my keys? I've lost them. And I just fucking flashed. And he said something else. Can't even remember what he said to this day. And I fucking pushed him. He took a swing from me, mate. And I just literally slipped straight under him, rear naked choke. I was on the stairs and I would have killed him. And my mum and my brother were both like hitting me, trying to get me off, man. I would have killed him. Yeah. I can't explain to you what it was. It was just and I would have killed him. I would have choked him out. I would have fucking killed him.
Yeah.
And then
what was the reaction? So fucking angry?
I don't know. I think it was his attitude. I think it was, I fucking lost your key, what of it? And I'm like, I don't think he understood the repercussions that I was going to get from the army and all this kind of stuff. But I think I was just that highly fucking strung at that point. Like 3 days previously, I'd been in fucking Afghan.
Yeah. I
think I was just tanks full. And then as soon as he swung for me, I just fucking red mist to set in. And then my missus lived in Crewe at the time, so I went back to camp. We'd done like a week in camp. We did a parade, medals parade and all that kind of stuff. And then came home in a similar situation. I called in at home on the way down to Crewe to see the missus, and I was going to spend my pottle down there. I went out with a few of the lads that were local, like the night I got home. I can't remember what night it was, and then we come in, and my room and my mum's house used to be like my mum's room, and then I had this little box room here, which my brothers ended up taking when I went away, but because I was coming home, my brothers ended up both bashing up in the same room. So I've come home fucking leathered, been out with the lads, and not saying much, I've been on tour, got in bed, and my mum's husband at the time gone up for a piss in the middle of the night, and he'd fallen over the washing basket, which was outside their room, but their floor outside my room, and he fell through my door. and I fucking got him up by the neck. Who the fuck are you? And I'm fucking choking him out. Stood there. Who the fuck are you? What do you fucking want? And I was just gone.
Yeah. And then when you calm down from these, how do you justify that to yourself? Was you just like, fuck it, I'm alright? Or did you think I've got a problem here?
I just thought, I'm due a bit of leave. I need a bit of fucking downtime, like, you know.
It's an adjustment period.
Yeah. And I just thought, it's just teething, it's just getting back into the normal way. Things like that's what my life had been like for like, you know, the last 5 months or whatever. So I just assumed I'd be alright. And then it was like during Portal, I just noticed I was a lot angrier at stuff. I used to refer to it as like my tanks were like 97.9% full all the time. So the littlest thing would fucking flash me over to the, what the fuck? And you're like, why are you acting like that for nothing? Like, it's next to now. And girls were at the time, like, bless her, she was like, you're not okay, you know. I was like, no, man, it's just an adjustment period, I'll be fine. She's like, you don't laugh anymore. She's like, where's the joy gone? Like, you don't play practical jokes on me anymore, you don't do any of this stuff. Like, man, I'm fucking fine. I've just been in a war zone, my fucking friends have died. Like, I just need some fucking time, some decent sleep, fucking running water, I will be fine. And we got back into normal jogging then at work, and I kind of just, there was a lot, the drinking increased, but it's a drinking culture.
Yeah, round the lads.
Yeah, and I was dead fit, so my fitness was good, so no one really cared. And it was kind of unspoken of at the time, like PTSD in the military, you don't talk about it anyway. I didn't think I had PTSD, I just thought I was fucking tired, and you know, the world were fucking dicks. They didn't get it because they're not part of the military machine. And probably about, well, exactly, something around the period of time of about 4 months after I came back, my missus' dad offered me a job, saying, listen, he was a low-level estate agent, and he's like, why don't you come and do this for me? He's like, you've done a bit, you've done your tour, you know, you and Emma, like, because they own this little like fucking courtyard with like 7 houses on it, and we had an house with them, and they were like, it was her house, like I just lived with her, and they were like, why don't you come and do this? And I was like, you know what, I might do. And I thought to myself, like, I've seen a lot, done a lot, I've achieved a bit. If I have got any issues, there's probably more of my like fucking soul to save now if I get out. So I was umming and ahhing about it. I was thinking about getting out, and then I'd gone on a course, a gunnery course, controlling assets and stuff, which I'd just done on tour. So I was thriving really, because I had all the most recent up-to-date operational experience on this course. And while I was on this course, I was thinking, I might sign off. And then my mate rang me, who'd just come back off tour with me, and said, there's a new role come out, I'm putting a team together, and I want you to come back to Afghan with me next year. So I had 10 months off between my first tour and my second tour.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want you to come back with me, like training starts now, finish that course, come back, we're going straight on to training for this new role, this new job. But he's like, we've just done a tour together, I want you with me. And I was just like, at that point then, the thought of signing off just went straight out of my head. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if something happened to my pal. Because he's asked me to go on tour with him, and I've gone, nah mate, I'm getting out. And it just felt like fucking cowardice, and that is just something that I'm not a fucking coward, and I wouldn't fucking have it questioned that I would be. Yeah. So even if he'd have said like, we come on tour, and then me going home signing off, like the lads would have been like, fucking hell. And like all I've ever wanted from my military career is for people to say he was a good soldier. So I was just like, boom, yeah, that's not an option anymore.
But you didn't want to be classed as a coward. But if one of the boys, before this obviously job opportunity come up, going with your pal, if one of the boys would have come to you and gone, listen, like, yeah, I'd say I've had enough here, I'm packing it in, give my tabs in, what would your reaction would have been?
Fair play.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I've been asked to go on tour.
Yeah. But would you have thought that person was a coward?
No.
Yeah.
But the fact that one of my mates has said to me, like, I'm picking my team, I want you to go on tour with me. It's not one, it's a mutual respect thing, because it doesn't come around often that, like, not a lot. You know, you can have a lot of muckers, but you don't have any real friends. Yeah. And it's only your real friends that ask you to go back into a war zone with them when you've just come out. And for me, that level of friendship and that mutual respect was worth more than anything else.
I suppose you're chosen, like he's asked you to go out there, watch his football.
He could have chose anyone in the unit, and he got to choose 8 people, and I was the first person that he asked. Yeah. So there is that, and it is a new role. We're a Gucci role, super secret role, and yeah. And for me, I think it was a turning point where I was like, I am a good soldier. because this wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people that I wanted to respect me as a good soldier clearly were doing. So I wouldn't risk besmirching my name then by going. It's a big thing, mate. Like, people get warned on for tour all the time. As a regiment, they go, right, the regiment's being warned on, we're going to deploy in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking 10 people will sign off.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Or war dodgers.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, no, I'm not having that. Not after the tour I've just been through. And I'm not having my reputation tarnished by that. So I just, literally, as soon as he asked me, yes mate, no problem. You let me know what needs to be done.
But that aside, obviously, you watching your pals back and all that, being handpicked, but do you not think that's completely understandable and acceptable? Like, yeah, you know, war's not for me, I've done enough shit, I've seen enough shit, I'll leave it as the one.
Not if someone's that shit are going, no.
Yeah.
We only work in small teams, we don't work in big units.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a family, like, and I've just been through the shit with that guy. And he obviously felt my worth to ask me to go back. And I respected him enough that if he wanted me to work underneath him, because I would have been under him.
Yeah.
We just worked together that well. I was like, yeah, if I'm going to work for anyone on tour, I'll work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely understandable. Like I say, if you've been handpicked and one of the boys is asking you personally, come watch my back, work with me, you're going to jump at that 100%.
I wouldn't have been able to live with myself if anything happened with him.
Yeah.
If I'd have said no and someone else had gone, and then something happened that I could have fixed or I could have avoided or made not happen, I would have never lived with myself.
Yeah.
And that's more important.
How was you within yourself then, knowing you're going back to war? Excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being on tour is easy. There's no bills, there's no mortgages, there's no dramas, there's no mobiles, there's no social media. Like, I conduct myself in Afghanistan very simply. I get up in the morning and my only objective of that day is to go to bed that night.
Yeah.
And you do that enough times, you go home. Life is easy on tour. As hard as it is with what goes on, mentally, life is easy on tour. There is nothing. There's no bank accounts, there's no fucking bills, there's no council tax levies, there's nothing.
I suppose on tour your job is just to
survive,
fight, do your job.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you got a normal 9 to 5, you got to do your job.
Yeah.
Then you need to go pay your bills, then you need to do this, then you need to do that, whereas you are literally just constantly on job.
Get up, mission, men, me. That's all that matters on tour. Easy. Compartmentalise and just fucking roll with it. Easy. I miss it now. Like, the thought of going on tour now, like I've just been in Norway then, it was exactly the same. No mobile reception, no nothing, no fucking home, no that. Great.
Yeah. So, yeah. Comfortable in a war zone.
Yeah, which sounds weird, but more comfortable in a war zone than back here some days.
Yeah.
Still.
So, tour number 2.
Yeah.
Talk me through that.
Really, this was a really good tour for me. Wasn't as kinetic. We had a super secret job. We were doing stuff at night in like six to 8 man teams. I got to see loads of Afghanistan. I worked with loads of different units. I worked with some of the Royal Marines. I worked with some of the Mercians. I worked with some of the Danes. I got to do this real cool concept which had been passed down to us from the SES. I'm not going to go too much into detail what the job was, but for us it was like, and it was a game changer for our unit. The only negative is that we were the second team ever to do it, and the first team that had done it, out of the 6 people, one had been killed, one had been completely blinded, and one had been blinded in one eye.
So that's a 50%.
Yeah, it's a high, very, very, very high risk job, but it's the kind of shit you join the army for.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's fucking cool stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I got to experience Afghanistan in a different way because I seen loads more than just where I was originally. We used to bounce in and out of Camp Bastion, in and out of Camp Leatherneck. So in and amongst it all, you get like a bit of fresh ground, you get like a fucking hot shower. Yeah. You might get 2 or 3 days where you're turning kit around and prepping the next mission, or you get concept of ops which you've got to go through and then plan the jobs. So there'd be periods of time where you're in Bastion. So we bounced around everywhere. It was really good because it's something I'd never experienced before. I'd been so fixed in my first role that I forgot how everyone else conducts the war when they're not in those kind of war fighting roles that we were on the first tour. So I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the role. Yes, it was high risk. Fortunately, we didn't suffer any casualties personally within the teams. We found a lot of IEDs and stuff like that. I found an awful lot of IEDs in that tour, and that is fucking twitchy, don't get me wrong. But as a job, it was fucking great. Yeah. And it's the kind of stuff you join the army for. And I'm really, really glad that I experienced it, and I'm really glad that the unit still continues now to do that. Going on the back of obviously losing the guys before, there was a lot of nerve. but we just dialed that into skills and drills. Not that their skills and drills were fucking not on point, just dialing on the
Even more,
basics, dialing on this, dialing on that. Because where we were going out putting kit is exactly where shitbags would go out and put kit, because we were looking for the same things. So you have to be careful that you're not putting stuff in where someone else has already left you something.
Yeah.
And then obviously mind migration, the weather, all that kind of stuff comes into it. So no, it was really good. I got to work with loads of different units. I got to experience like being with loads of different organisations and different regiments, and like even foreign nationals as well, with the Danes and some Americans and things like that. So I really fucking enjoyed that tour, and it was a really good way. Yes, a lot of stress on the job, a lot of risk, a lot of anxiety, things like that. But I don't think on that tour I even fired my weapon in anger once.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is very different to my first tour.
Yeah, that was leading up to my next question, just to get a picture of you. Was there much contact?
No, because the nature of the job is we would go out at night when everyone's in bed, and if anyone's seen us, that's compromised. We wouldn't put kit out, we'd bring it back, go out another night.
So completely different job role. You're now pretty much special ops in reality.
Sort of,
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're following the same jobs, protocols, and so you finished that tour?
Yeah. And
chilling, happy, back in love with the army, I presume.
I was in love with the army. Do you know what? Like, I won't lie. I was really happy. The controller at the time of our team, he was going to be our new sergeant major. So I was like, 2 years, and I've just worked for him. We've just done a really good job. Me and the boys have got dead fit, dead strong. You know, I was taking a lot of fizz, but I was banging into my fizz. So we were training, like, if we were in Bastion, we were hitting the good gyms. If we were in the PBs, we were training. All of us would train every day, regardless. Even if it's in PBs, we'd do fucking deadlifts or whatever, because we only went out at night, so you train during the day, then go and do an op and get your head down. So we had a really good time, and I thought, coming back to the unit, that I was going to get rewarded for the amount of work that I put in, and unfortunately it didn't pan out that way. I was supposed to go to one of my best mates' weddings in Texas, and I told this sergeant major that this was what the plan was. And he basically said to me, you know, if you work hard for me, I'll make sure you can go and you can have the time off. Because I had to leave, but it's getting the time off. So as we came back, he cycled into chair, and I thought, not that I thought I'd been for an easy ride, because the guy is a professional fucking soldier, you know what I mean, and he makes you work. But we had this unwritten understanding.
Yeah. Thought he'd look after you.
Yeah, and to a degree he did, but we had a new boss at the same time, and this new boss did not like me at all, and he made it very fucking clear to me personally, like as in a conversation, that he was going to make my life hell for the next 2 years. He thought I was large and it cunt. He thought I had, you know, ideas above my station. He thought I was too big for me fucking boots, and I'd done all these last 2 tours and people were talking about me, and he just thought he needed to fucking bring me down a couple of pegs.
He needs to be the man.
So he basically had said, like, you're not going to go on that. You're not going to go to Texas. You're going to either go to Canada, you're going to go on a full screws course, or you can sign off. Those are your 3 options. If you sign off, you can go to Texas, but I want your paperwork on my desk by the end of the week.
To sign off, you mean out the army?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's fucked you in reality.
Yeah.
So I presume you went with the paperwork in?
Because I'd give me word, and I also felt like my sergeant major gave me his word, and he should have backed me more. Yeah. So within, I bet you I wasn't back in the UK from my second tour. I wasn't back a year before I put my paperwork in. So within about 1.5 years, 2 years of coming back from that second tour, I was out.
Yeah. How long did you serve in total?
10 years.
So you did 10 years, 2 tours, experienced some horrific things, and your pat on the back is, you ain't going to the wedding, which we come to an agreement to. You can hand your tabs in, we can fuck off to Canada and do something else, but you ain't going to the wedding.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Being shit on like that after everything you've gone through?
The guy who's done it is notorious for it, and he'd taken an instant dislike to me. I hadn't helped myself, to be fair. I got fucking done for drink driving on camp, but you don't get charged because I was in the army. Yeah. I did get charged. I got charged 500 quid, but I didn't lose my licence. We'd gone on a mess function. I got absolutely shit-faced, like everybody did. But then I decided to drive my car from the unit lines down to the accommodation, because I was going on leave the next day, and I wanted to pack my bag in the morning, and the guard caught me, basically. Yeah. I had to pass the guard room to go, and I was just dead unlucky. They just pinged me put you in the day, and I was fucking blazing.
Yeah.
So the next morning, I got called into his office and I was still blazing. So he was like, fucking look at the state, you fucking stood in front of me like that. Like, and I was like, and I was still pissed, and I was like, everyone does it. I'm on camp. I'm going to get charged. Do we need to do this?
That's what I mean. Like, I've spoke to lads in the past. Tony, we've mentioned, like, I think he used to have 16 years, and he gets to a point where you're a man. You've done 2 tours. You've gone through enough shit. Like, just fuck off, man. Like,
I wouldn't have said it if I was sober.
yeah.
The fact is, I got us banging on my fucking door first thing in the morning. We had a late start, and it was like 7:30. I bet you I've been in bed 4 hours. Still shit faced. My uniform was fucked because it's in my grip bag because I was going home that day. We were turning in civvies.
Yeah.
So I've had you need to get your rig on and get up to the fucking BC's office now. So I'm putting uniform on that's not even ironed, and I'm like, and he's just fucking, and he didn't like me anyway. And then this is when the whole fucking tet started, and he's like, I'd fucking look at the fucking state, and I was just like, fuck off, mate. Like, there was just no need.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have done that if I was sober. I'd have slammed my tabs in, yes sir, no sir, took it on the fucking chin. But because I was hungover, I said some shit I shouldn't have said, like, do we need to do this? Yeah, I've been caught out. You're going to charge me. I'm going to go and see those orders. I'm not fucking stupid.
Just get over it, don't we?
Like, you know, we're going on leave today. Can we not just fucking sort this out?
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, you're not supposed to go about it that way. I understand that. I was hungover, while still pissed. I wouldn't have done it if I was sober. But at the same time, everyone fucking knew the calibre of bloke that I was and that I love the army. Like, anyone could have stepped up and gone, listen, sir, like, he's in no fit state to come and see you this morning. You know, can we not do this when we get back off leave?
Yeah.
Because it's not like the police were involved. It was an in-camp incident. He was going to report me to the commanding officer, which he did. I got put onto commanding officer's orders and I got charged £500 in my wages in one go. So I was already getting punished. Didn't need to do it. But because he didn't like me, that was the way it was going to go. So then me and him were just basically at loggerheads. Like, even at reunions now, like, if I see him, I don't fucking speak to him. And I see him fucking eyeballing me, and I just hope one day he comes and says something stupid because I'll fucking leather him.
Yeah.
Because he did save my career for me, really.
That's what I mean. Like, how was it for you handing your tabs in? Were you gutted?
Yeah. A lot of my mates were getting out and going on the circuit anyway, and they were like, just come with us, Yates, you don't worry about it. Like, we were just got to the point of, I'd just finished out 14, so it'd be like 15, 16 time, and then we went to a peacekeeping role in Herrick, 17 or 18, so my unit stopped deploying, so there was no more Afghan.
Yeah.
So very quickly my life was going to change anyway, because we'd gone from doing what the fuck we wanted, getting ready to go on tour, being on tour, or getting ready to go on tour again. So there were no fucking sideburns, fucking polished boot, you know. You just screwed the nut in camp to a degree, but we weren't like fucking professional. We weren't doing muster parades and none of that kind of shit, because we soldiered at a different level. All that was going to change anyway, because when the British Army's got no war fighting to do, then it gets ready for war. It does that the rigid way, but there's just ways and means of doing it, and it were unnecessary. So the boys were like, you know, come and do CP with us. Like, don't fucking worry about it. So I did my CP course, did an extra surveillance course, even though my background was reconnaissance and surveillance. And I got a job in Iraq, and when I left the military, I already had a job ready in Iraq. But I remember vividly the last day I put my uniform on to the mirror and thought, like, I'll never be this man again. And I was gutted. I'm still gutted now. Like, you know, I fucking love the army. I still love the army, like, warts and all. It was the greatest accolade of my life to serve with some of the most professional soldiers I've ever met. And I do feel like, you know, it were a rash decision, but I was forced. But I was brought up that a man's word is his bond, and I'd given my word I was going to Texas and being my mate's best man, and other people had given me their word, and I felt that people should have had the same level of integrity that I had.
Yeah, me looking at it, you was pushed. It's like, if you agree to go to Canada, I've won.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And
Freeze.
yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like, nah.
Yeah. That, and it was like, you're going to Canada or you're going on a full screws course. You choose. Well, what about this? And I had to leave. I wasn't asking for any special permissions. I had it saved up. It was just him flexing to let him know he was the daddy. He was in charge and things weren't going to go my way. And he was enrolled for 2 years, and he could have made my fucking life hell for 2 years.
How was, during this period of, obviously you've just finished your second tour, you haven't been back in England so long, and then you're getting out of the army. How's your head at this point?
I I was doing a lot of drinking, again, drinking culture. I were very angry, you know, there was a lot of, I weren't the happy-go-lucky guy I used to be, I know that much.
You're still carrying it on your back from the first tour?
Yeah.
No, you're back on.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think I was getting a lot of animosity towards like my Sat Major for not backing me up and the fucking PC for just being a ring piece.
Yeah.
And I just thought, fuck it, I'll just go and do CP and I'll earn fucking pop star wages for doing what I do now.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Zach, like Ziggy Johnson. That I'm an influencer fighter from the United States. I was just on the rock. I was just on the Rock Bottom podcast, and I wanted to talk about someone that was just on this yesterday. He is a veteran service guy, to the Army, and he has a charity that he's given back to other veterans in the armed service that they battle every single day, and they struggle as soon as they come home with mental health, with PTSD. Some of them are homeless, and they're still battling everything today on their home front, and they need the support the same way that they give us out in the fields in that war, and that you should give back to this charity, and you should definitely check them out and support the people that support us out in the fields, and I can make that sacrifice every single day.
So you went out to Iraq?
Yeah.
Doing CP. How was that? Because that's some fucking movie star stuff, that is.
Yeah, Iraq was rough, really. It's the closest thing to being in the Wild West that you can kind of fucking...
What's the kind of jobs you were doing in close protection?
So I was looking after, long story short, my company got a contract looking after contractors that were working on an Iraqi Air Force base. So Americans had smashed this Iraqi Air Force base during the war, then they got a contract to repair it. So all the technicians and stuff that went in, they were importing manual labour from Turkey, but the heads of sheds, they were all Americans or French or whatever.
Yeah.
So we were looking after them to make sure that no one was going to fuck with them.
The heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kidnap them, fucking whatever. Yeah. So we were looking after them, but during this period of time, ISIS had been on, it wasn't called ISIS at the time, it was called ISIL and then IS, and all it's had a few fucking names.
Yeah.
But ISIS had just come about, so one of the biggest incident I had in Iraq, and the reason I left shortly after and never went back, ISIS had took Mosul and took 357 million, and then about 2 days later they fucking surrounded our camp at Balad, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna fucking take this camp. And I had a team of 55 guys, 25 vehicles, load of kit on my flick. I was a site lead, so I was thinking about 26, 27 at this time. 55 blokes, most of them older than me, a lot of them local nationals, 25 B6 armoured vehicles and all the ancillaries and all that comes with it. We were subcontracted to another company called Sallyport, and with that company, we basically did all the force protection for the principals that were doing all the stuff out on the site, so repairing the hangars, repairing the runways, all that kind of stuff. So I get a phone call, Yates, you need you at the TOC, Tactical Operations Centre, that's what they call it. I'm like, right, okay. And he was speaking to me, and he was alright, this guy was called Archer, and they're all South African. And I thought, a bit fucking weird, not normal like that to me on the phone. We were quite pally, because we met twice a day for briefs. I get there, and he's like, have you seen this? And he's fucking panning around on the cameras, and the camp is surrounded by ISIS, and they've got fucking US Humvees, 50 caliber machine guns mounted, and the Iraqi Air Force is surrendering to a man, not a shot fired. So we're like, fuck. And I mean, properly, it was like the football.
Because you can't surrender to these, can you?
No. So these boys were, it was like the football queuing up for a ticket. I've said this is the easiest way I can replicate it for people to imagine. Like, it was like they were queuing up to get a ticket for the football or hand the ticket in, but they were handing their rifles in.
Yeah.
And then their officers and stuff were getting cut out of the pack and executed, and we were just watching on camera. There's some famous footage of an Iraqi Air Force guy wearing a Manchester United top, and they fucking single him out, walk him out, his knees don't hit the floor before his fucking head does, they just shoot him back of the head. We're like, fuck. So Sallyport then had got this civilian airliner to come in to pick up all the principals, because obviously it's an Air Force camp, so there's runways and stuff. So I'm like, right, what we need to do? Like, right, we need to get everyone down here, we need to secure the runway, boom, boom. So I'm giving the briefs to all the boys. We're going to be all right, we're going to be all right. Boom, boom, boom. On the phone to Baghdad, this is the situation, this is what's being done at the moment, this is what's happening. They're like, right, yeah, okay, keep us abreast of the situation, boom. So airliner comes in, everyone from Sallyport, and I mean, the guy who worked in the fucking laundrette, mate, got on this fucking flight. And then we went to go on and they were like, no, you don't work for us. And we were like, what? They were like, you're not Sallyport employees. So they just left us. So then I had like 55 guys, these vehicles, and a camp surrounded by ISIS. And they were executing fucking Air Force officers and stuff, and like fucking whoever.
Never mind when they catch their hands on some Western white boys.
And the boys like, what's going on? What's Baghdad saying? At this point, Baghdad stopped answering the phone to me.
Sound.
They just said, get back to camp, as in back to Baghdad. I was like, we're cut off and surrounded. And they were just like, get back. Like, they just stopped answering the phone. There was no way out of camp. There was like one way in, one way out, really. So I made the decision that we were gonna all go to the main road, the main entry point in. They had a big robust chicane, concrete chicane. So anyone that was gonna try and press us had to go through the chicane. So I got the boys to like park at the top in a V, engine blocks towards the front of the threat, and I was just like, fucking sell your lives dearly. Like, there was no way we would have won. There were fucking, bet you there were. Now in my mind, it was like 2,000. There might have been 1,000, but there weren't many less than 1,000 guys there.
Yeah.
In my head, I said there must have been about 2,000 guys there, chanting, celebratory fire, the fucking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And there were no way we'd have got out of that. None. We only had like fucking 5 mags for your primary and then 2 pistol mags. Fuck all.
Mm-hmm.
So we stacked up, blokes like ringing the missus and stuff, like empty the bank account, so I'm not coming home, fucking you're horrible. I set up on the engine block, magazines on the engine block, fucking just ready for them to come. They pressed, we pushed back. It felt like it lasted forever. I bet you it lasted 2 minutes.
So they attempted to push through.
Yeah. And then they were just obviously met with a fucking rate of fire that they weren't expecting.
Yeah, realised, organised.
Yeah, and then basically a shitbag got on the fucking loud halo and just went, you've got 12 hours to get out of camp. And I was like, we don't need 12 minutes, get in the vehicles now. Anything you've not got, we're not going for. Because we had all the mission critical kit in the vehicles anyway, but all of our personal kit and stuff we just left. Got in the vehicles, B6 armoured, doors locked, and just fucking drove back to Baghdad. And then on that trip back to Baghdad, that's where like the Pandora's box of my mental health just fucking erupted.
So, while you're fucking surrounded at this Air Force base, obviously you pull the vehicles to the front, you're stood there with your 5 fucking clips. You expecting fight to the death at that point?
Yeah.
Fuck me. Some scary shit.
Yeah, I think that's what pushed me over the edge. I've been fucking firefights and stuff before, and I've had, in the army you've always got QRF or you've got someone backing you up, but there was no one. And I've always had someone to lean into or go like, what do you think? But I was the guy in charge.
Everyone's leaning on you.
Yeah, and people were not happy, obviously. Nothing I could fucking do about it. But I'm not joking when I say like, it were a cellular, like everyone expected to die. And it was just about dying well at that point.
Yeah, fighting to the end.
Yeah, and I was just like, if you want it, come and earn it. And I would have made them earn it as well.
Yeah. Where did ISIS get like their Humvees from?
So they took them from Mosul.
Yeah. So just the Iraqi army just took their shit.
So when they took Mosul, they took $357 million. Armour fighting vehicles, 50 cals. They even got helicopters, but they had no pilots. The army at Mosul, the Iraqi army, capitulated, just gave up to a man, same as at Balad.
Yeah. I remember the footage when Afghanistan fell, and they've got the American helicopters and attempted to fly out.
Yeah. So it's pretty much similar to that. And we'd have done fucking nothing against a 50 caliber machine gun.
Yeah,
Nothing.
of course, yeah. They'd have gone straight for the vehicles, I
nothing.
presume.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're B6 armoured, but you ain't, if it's holding some rounds off, it's not holding many off.
Yeah. So then they give you 12 hours, you're fucking out within 12 seconds, fucking
gone.
smooth boys.
Obviously, then in the vehicle, like the adrenaline wears off and stuff, and I had what I know now was like a small panic attack, which I fucking kept to myself. But I just had these fucking feelings I never wanted to experience again. It was fucking horrible. And like, that's what I say, like, you know, the lid on my Pandora's box blew up, and then I didn't like what was inside. I was fucking scared.
What was you thinking?
I was like, oh, I'm fucking lucky to be alive now. And I was just like, but someone's just giving me that. Someone's just giving it me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't earn it. I think if we'd have fought for it, I wouldn't have felt the way that I felt.
Even though they've let you pass through, they've still won.
Yeah.
Mm.
And there was some.
What does that matter?
I don't know.
What does that matter? It's another fucking story, isn't it, in reality?
I don't know why it matters, but it does. It did at the time. And then I was just like, I had a lot of anger then that, you know, should I have done something differently? Could I have done something differently? I was fucking raging at Baghdad. When we got back to Baghdad, I flew into the fucking ops room, fucking went at the guy there. I was like, you fucking pretty, fucking left us to fucking die and all this kind of stuff. And it was just, I think when you accept you're going to die and then you don't, there's just a balance that never really, never goes back in line.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, then I started getting things like, after that period of time is when I started getting things like flashbacks, and then I started like losing time sometimes. I'd be sat there and just daydreaming about stuff, and I'd be back in Afghanistan or back in Iraq or whatever. Or I'd see someone in the crowd and I'd remember some face of some casualty I'd treated.
Do you think that's because you've always distracted yourself with the army or then close protection is involved?
Yeah.
And now that's gone. You've only got your thoughts.
Yeah. When my life slowed down, that's when my mental health plummeted.
Yeah.
I think I'd always been so busy I didn't have time to actually suffer really.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished off that contract 4 or 5 months and I came back to the UK, and I've never done security again.
Not worth it at all.
No.
Yeah.
I bought a gym, got into personal training and gym life, and then that's when like my fucking life really plummeted. I had like 2 years of just fucking madness with my mental health, like immediate gratification, doing anything I could do to not feel like I felt in that vehicle in Iraq. Like I had a missus at the time, weren't serious, but I was fucking cheating on her. I had a gym, I was doing steroids, I was out the weekend fucking supping all the time, doing gear, anything, immediate gratification, you know. Felt a bit shit in myself, or maybe I looked a little bit like what that box was about. I'd go and fucking buy myself something, or I'd go and do something else. Just anything to keep myself out of that fucking space and that place.
Yeah.
And I lived like that for about 2 years until people just couldn't be around me anymore. People were like, you know, you come into a room, it's like a black cloud of hate follows you, and I was just angry all the time.
Do you think, like I said, just you always work towards stuff in the army, you're distracting yourself, you work on it, you're getting better, you know, you're building yourself up for the next fucking deployment and all that stuff. Same with the CP, you're the big dog in charge, a lot of distraction, and then you've got all this free time, and like you just said, you're jumping on the steroids. You know what I mean? Your next project is then yourself, your body, your business, chasing women, just a quick, easy fix, just a distraction for the mind for a night. Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah. It was just immediate gratification. Anything to just, in that moment where I was starting to think or feel the way I felt in that vehicle, something to pick me out of it, rather than look at it and work on it and address it.
Yeah.
And I was like that for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And then the girl I was with at the time was like, I can't fucking live with you no more, you need to go and get help or you need to get out of the house.
Did she know the stuff you was up to in your free time?
Yeah, there've been incidences where, you know, people had said, I've seen him with this bird, or I've seen him on Saturday night and whatever. And like I obviously would deny it, or then I stopped denying it. But she was bang at it as well. We ended up in quite a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
So then like she made me go and get help, but that's because she was shagging someone else and she wanted me to go and get help so then I could be alright on my own, so she could be with this other person.
Yeah.
So, but she still forced me to go and get help, so for that I am grateful.
So I always say in them situations, like when you're on a self-destruction, like you're damaging yourself, you're self-destructing. You're also fucking damaging them around you, Kamos.
Yeah.
And I think that's the worst thing about it.
Yeah.
Like you can bounce back, you know what I mean? You can sort yourself out and fix yourself, but how can you fix the damage you've caused to somebody else mentally over a number of years? Like cheating on them, breaking them down, their self-esteem, their trust, for them to move forward. Like you fucking ruined them.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing to live with.
It is. But yeah, I started my recovery then, like late 2015, early 2016. Me and her split up. She got with a guy that she was cheating on me with, which is fine at that point.
Look at you.
Yeah. And, I started talking therapists for my PTSD.
How was that?
Hard, but what I did is I didn't go down in the military route. I didn't go through any military charities. I went through the NHS, kept it very civvy. I didn't want to be in a dick swinging competition with some bloke who's done 5 toes to my 2 toes or whatever.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get 17 sessions with psychotherapists. I ended up with like 27, but I ended up switching therapists. My therapist was like, I haven't dealt with anything like this before. I need to hand you over to someone more experienced than me, which kind of knocked me a little bit then, because I'm thinking, I fucking broke that therapist.
Yeah.
I broke that one, fetch me another one kind of thing. But I was kind of like trying to embrace the whole recovery thing and work on mental health. But I was doing it all very much in silence, and like not many people knew. My family didn't know. And then it was at this point I'd finished my 27 weeks, and she basically said, you need like do 6 months without any therapy and see how you get on, and then if you need more, come back. And during this period of time, my mate killed himself with PTSD, and I thought, fucking jack bastard, like why didn't I not told anyone? Because if he'd have known I was struggling, maybe he'd come and spoke to me about it.
Yeah.
Which is wrong, and that's survivor's guilt, and I know all that now, but at the time. So what that did for me was, I decided like, no, I'm never going to be in this position again. So I took my recovery onto social media, good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I was on there every month, every day, doing stuff, talking about, you know, my experiences with PTSD and how I found this and how I found that, and I became a bit of a, you know, if you're struggling, you need someone to talk to, come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And then from then, carried on working on myself, and then I started doing like mental health boot camps.
Well, I'm just going to jump in there though. Like you said, your mate struggling with PTSD, top to himself, and if he'd have come to you, you know, you're going through the same. See, with me, obviously with different people, if someone come to me and goes, oh, I'm struggling, like you said, you wouldn't want it to be a dick swinging competition. I won't go, well, fucking funny you said that, I'm struggling as well. And I know that's okay, because you're letting them know, like, oh, we're in this together, but it's also, you don't want to take their moments.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard, like, he could come to you but he's struggling. Obviously there's stigma, especially in the military, about PTSD. But then, he's going to come to you and say he's struggling. At what point then do you get to say you can without stepping on his toes, and then you're taking somebody else's problems as well?
Yeah, well...
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, and I have fallen foul of that, of trying to help people before I was ready to help people, and I have taken the knocks that come with that as well. Trying to be thinking I was all right to help other people, when actually we just ended up like feeding each other.
Yeah.
I've been that guy as well, but I think it's better to be that guy than say nothing. And
Of course, yeah.
so, I mean, now it's very easy in active listening and stuff and all that, but at the time I would have just been like, well, have you seen anyone? Because I'm seeing this guy, you know, do you want to talk to me about anything, like, you know, whatever, I don't know, but I won't get that chance. I won't get that chance to know.
Yeah.
But I decided then that I was not gonna hide anymore, regardless of what people thought about me as an individual or PTSD. If speaking to me or someone hearing my story saves one life, then it's worth it. Was my opinion. And then, like I said, I started my mental health boot camps and stuff. And then shortly after him killing himself and I'd done my first bout of therapy, I then attempted to take my own life. Not because of him, I'd just had enough of being fucking angry all the time. And I'd been nominated for like fucking personal trainer of the year, and about 30 of my mates had come to a big dinner night, all celebrating me and stuff. And I was single at the time, but I had my dog Lou, Belgian Mal. And I just remember like we'd fucking got on it big time, and I hadn't got on it for for ages, but we did. And then I'd gone home and I just thought I could literally picture every person that had come to this dinner to celebrate like my achievements, even though I didn't win the award, but at least being nominated. And I thought, I'm here on my own and everyone else has gone home and they're all partnered up and they've all got birds, and what's the fucking point? Like, what am I trying to better myself for? So I took an overdose, and my dog, she's like rigid, fucking Team GB dog, like never been up the stairs in her life at this point. And I woke up with her licking my face and she brought me round.
Yeah.
And then from that day to this, I've never had a night terror or a nightmare that the dog's not woke me up from.
What do you think, like, topping yourself would have done? Like,
I think at the time, I just was so tired of being angry all the time. And I was just like, what's the fucking point in it? And I also felt like, it sounds daft, but if I had died in the military, my life would have meant something. And I was like, well, what legacy have we got now, mate? Or what's it all for? Got no missus, got no kids.
no purpose.
Yeah. No uniform no more. Like, you own a gym, great. You know, who are you? You don't fucking, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing.
Yeah.
And I just was like, plus I was off my fucking jobs.
Yeah. But it's hard, like, I've tried to top myself in the past, yeah. There's many times I fucking wanted to and not even done anything. But I think that's just a time in the moment. Do you know what I mean? When you fucking don't, you're always very grateful that you didn't.
Yeah.
Because it's just a crisis in the moment.
This too shall pass.
Yeah. Exactly that.
I just think I think if I were sober, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't been on bag, I don't think it would have happened.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it didn't. But yeah, my little dog saved my life. And then I was like, fucking hell. So then I went back to therapy for probably about another year, working on loads of different stuff. And then that's when I started doing mental health boot camps, and I started doing, like, you know yourself, you're into the gym, like the shared austerity from being thrashed in the gym. So I'd take people on circuits, hammer them, and afterwards we'd get the boxes out and we'd sit down, and it'd be like an unofficial fellowship. And then someone would talk about anything, and if somebody didn't, I'd have a talking point to start with, and I'd bring something up, and then someone would start.
Yeah.
And it started going that way, and then they started getting quite popular, and then I started doing like mental health Mondays, and during this period of time then I'm going away educating myself, I went and did my own counselling course and stuff like that, and I'm still doing my own development within therapy. And then COVID happened, and I started helping out on a mental health platform that my mate started, reaching about 2 million people a month. And then I started doing guest speaking on like PTSD with the military, and that's when I was doing some guest speaking in like businesses as well before COVID, you know, mentorship and stuff like that. And I was doing a lot of talks, and there was a lot of veterans and a lot of military guys with similar problems to me that I could really relate to what I was doing, and I was giving them like tips and tricks, and this is how I combated my PTSD related insomnia, this is how I combated that, this is how I combated that. And then the withdrawal from Afghanistan happened, and in the military community, I think it was something like 17 suicides in 10 days from veterans. And I remember being on a live, because we used to do lives on this platform, and I was like, somebody somewhere's got a duty of care to these guys, like, and then someone went, and I was like, someone should do something, and someone said, well, why don't you? I was like, fuck it, I will then. And then I started Veterans Army.
You know what's sad though? It's not your job.
No, but if not me, who?
Yeah. That is the big shame in it all. Like, you know, with the veterans, with the PTSD, the army should be looking after you. And like, I've said it so many times, like, there's support groups out there for your average Joe, Men's Walking and Talking and his Man's Club and all that. They're all fucking volunteer led. And it's not people's jobs to do, because that's the human thing to do, but it's not anyone's jobs to. It's the government should be helping you out, the army should be helping you out.
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes about you.
I think at the time I was just some cocky gobshite from Bolton who thought, yeah, it can't be that hard. But the organisation was 5 years old yesterday, and fucking trust me, it's well hard.
Yeah.
It's fucking well hard. But yeah, so I started Veterans Army then to support veterans and the families, and big believer in supporting the family unit around veterans as well, not just the actual serving member of the family. We started as an online based thing, and then we started running a mental health program, and then Ukraine happened, and then I deployed to Ukraine with a team of veterans. Initially we were going to join the Ukrainian Foreign Legion as a knee-jerk reaction, then better sense prevailed and I was like, I've got PTSD so I'm pretty fucking useless, and we decided to do medical aid. So I then crowdfunded £47,000 in 10 days, and I turned that into £2.5 million worth of medical aid, and we delivered that over 57 trips by road into the Ukraine with a team of 6 veterans over a space of about 15 months. Byproduct to that is we got a lot of supporters. I think we got up to about 400 subscribers, so I asked people to subscribe to Veterans Army, and they subscribe £3.99 a month, and £3.71 of that goes into our mental health fund. No administration costs. The slight difference in money is what Stripe takes off us for processing the payment, because nobody in my organisation gets wages and nothing. So we started that. We trained up a lot of the militia from the Donbass. We was in Ukraine from day 9 of the war all the way through until kind of midway through 2023 when the funding ran out. And at this point then, the organisation took a massive knock. The Russians had hacked Stripe, and Stripe had cancelled every single one of my direct debits. So every person that was donating £3.99 a month, I went from everyone donating about 400 people, I was left with £8 because 2 people had done £3.99 a month on PayPal rather than Stripe. So I went from having like an organisation which at this point's got like nearly 3-year running costs, I'm paying thousands a month in mental health bills, to having no money, and we've never recovered from that. I come on stuff like this and I'm like trying to get people to subscribe and see the worth in what we do, but we have never recovered from that. And I spoke to Stripe and I was like, can you restart that in a bit? It's like, no, we don't have the technology, not our problem. But they single-handedly like almost collapsed the business. So then mentally I had to come back from that and I had to start trying to rebuild and do stuff, and we've grown more projects since then. I think we're only back up to about 150 subscribers now. We had over 400 in 2023, which is difficult to swallow, because then I have to do things like the Norway expedition to raise money, because we're bucket shaking, we're non-government funded. So I need people to go and run a marathon, or people to go and do this and raise money for us, or us generate it somewhere else to be able to support veterans, and like month on month the demand grows. So we carried on doing that, did a load of different fundraisers. I think I've done 30 fundraisers in 5 years, something like that. And then last year, so I nearly lost the organisation in 2023, and it was like, do we fuck it off or not? And I just couldn't be the guy that goes to a veteran and says, sorry mate, I can't give you your therapy no more. So I put about £4,000 of my own money into the organisation then to float us by, and then carried on doing fundraisers and stuff for the rest of 23 into 24. Launched my online coaching business in 2024, and then 20% of all my income from 2024 to now I put into Veterans Army as a donation to try and support what we're doing.
So you're just trying to do everything you can just to keep.
So if people like do an online course with me, 20% of what they pay goes into that. And then I bought a gym. I was offering free memberships to veterans and stuff like that. This was last year, 2025. Bought a gym. I bought into a gym. My friend of 15 years, she owned it with her husband. They'd split up. She got the gym in the divorce, or so we thought, so we were told. So late 2024, I bought into the gym, and then systematically, so within a 9-month period from like July 24 to April, or July 24 to April 25, I lost my grandma, my granddad, and my stepmom. They'd all died. During the start of 2025, my grandma had died very unexpectedly, surprise cancer. My granddad was in a dementia home. So a byproduct to this is that I was spending a lot of time at the dementia home. So I was doing like 6 till 12 at my gym, or 6 till 2, and then going to the dementia home. And my business partner, she would come in, but we needed more staff. So someone had made me aware of a veteran that was living in his van, supposed to be a dog handler and stuff, in the local area. So I went and found him. He had a Mallee. I've got a Mallee. You know, he's down on his luck. I've been down on my luck before, more than once. So I brought him in, gave him a job, helped him develop his personal training skills, got him some clients in the gym. But what I didn't know is that while I was at like the dementia home and that, him and my business partner started getting close. And then April 2025, woke up one morning to a missed call from my accountant, rung him. He said, have you been on company's house? No. And this guy and my business partner had removed me from company's house and put the lad that I had employed, the homeless veteran, on as a director. Them two subsequently then got married 6 months later. And he stole my life, so I lost my wages, I lost all my personal training clients. I was homeless because I couldn't afford rent on my house anymore, because I had no income.
Yeah.
So I'd gone from like owning a gym, which turned over good money, online coach and all this kind of stuff. I lost all my clients. One of my mates was like, come and PT at my place, but you know, I had to rebuild that. All because I'd helped out a homeless veteran, on top of just losing like my grandma and my granddad. Basically, there's only me, my brother and my dad left in my family now.
How does that make you feel? Like, you're doing such good fucking work, putting so much time, effort, money into helping other veterans, and then you come across one who needs a seriously hand up. You know, take him under your wing, teach him how to PT, get him a job at your gym, and then he fucks you like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult to swallow. And there's like part of me is like, go through the door, but she's got kids. I'm not about that life anymore. And it's subsequently turned out she's now been made bankrupt. I'll get lucky if I get 10% of my investment back.
Yeah.
She's done over 14 guys. She's sold half the gym to 7 different people since me. And she's like a professional con woman. This guy's just drunk from the fucking Kool-Aid. He's married her. He tried telling people I was a Walt in the gym, and he found out and sacked me and all this kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. And then it was hard. So then I went very insular last year. Again, I lost everything. The organisation suffered because I wasn't pushing the projects forward, because I really have nowhere to fucking live. I had to find somewhere to live. I ended up having to go back to my mum's and live at hers for 2 months until I could find a house to rent. But like, that's me going home at 35 when I left home at 16.
Mate, there's no wrong with going back and fucking
No,
rebuilding. I wish I
was-
could sometimes.
Yeah, so that, not me, not the organisation. And then I started very much being like, just not letting people in my inner circle, not trusting people. I was only really interested in, like, me and the missus met soon after that. I was only really interested in her and the kids and people that I knew really, really well. I was very wary of like new people coming into my circle or my space, and people wanting to get involved with the organisation. I was like, no, I'm all right, kind of thing. It took me a while to get over it, to be honest. I mean, I think it's quite humbling. I bought into a gym that had turned over £1 million in 2 years, to being homeless, no job, all my life savings gone in the overnight, and some cunt living my life, taking my wages from the gym, PTing my clients that I got in the gym, getting a life that I'd given him.
And telling everyone on top of it you're a wolf.
Yeah, that's the most fucking insulting thing.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't last very long, because obviously it's very easy to prove that I'm not, but still the fucking audacity of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I questioned a lot then. I questioned, do I shut the organisation down? Like, do I just fuck it off? Do I become a selfish prick and just dial in on me?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we've launched a big project now. I decided, no, I'm not going to let one thing change who I am as a person.
Yeah.
It was a difficult decision, and it's a work in progress. Like, I still sit at home sometimes thinking I just go fucking kill him. But yeah, we launched Project Respite in February, and I'm trying to raise £50,000 so that we can give veterans and the families free holidays in the UK, as in caravan holidays. Also, we can use the location as a point of intervention. So say you're a veteran and you're really fucking struggling, I will send my therapist and you to that caravan, and they can work with you one-on-one for a fucking week, 2 weeks, whatever's needed. And then we also want to offer it to people that finish bouts of therapy with us. When they finish, like, listen mate, go take your mates or take your missus, go and have a few days away. Congratulations on, you know, working with yourself and working on your mental health, and just go and have a bit of a consolidation moment and have a bit of fucking pride in yourself that you've taken the initiative to kind of work on yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I've just come back from Norway. I've never skied before in my life. I've just skied 80 kilometres across the Hardangervidda, which is some of the roughest terrain in Eastern Europe, with a team of veterans under an organisation called Cockle Shell 22. So I self-funded that myself through selling a house, and I funded that so I can raise money towards Project Respite. Then I've got a fundraiser in April for St George's Day, and then in June me and 2 veterans are push biking from Bolton to Belgium, to try and 417 miles on a bike, stopping off at strategic points that have important to veterans, like D-Day landings, the Arboretum, the Menin Gate, things like that. All on social media and stuff to try and generate funding so we can deliver on this Project Respite and get some veterans a bit of fucking just downtime with the family. Absolutely cost free. All they got to do is take their own food.
Mate, you're very, very fucking selfless. Like, too selfless.
It has been said, mate. I won't
Too
lie.
selfless.
Yeah, it's been said.
Obviously, you're doing a lot of good work. And like you said, the importance of just saving one person, it's a fucking job well done. That's why I do this podcast. If one person can connect with what I'm fucking waffling, and hats off to them, it's a job well done.
Exactly.
But yeah, you're going above and beyond.
I just think I'm in a position to do it, so I should.
Yeah.
If not me, who? If not, no way.
Of course, yeah.
And that's just how I live my life, and it bites me in the ass, as we've discussed. But I just view it that if I don't reach the 50k this year, maybe that's the universe telling me that it no longer needs Veterans Army. And
No,
maybe,
definitely not.
maybe that's the time for me to have a sit down and think about if I carry it on or not. But every year I say this is the last year. Every year. You know, we're 5 years in now. It's my life's work now.
Of course, yeah. I can see the passion about it. It's fucking lovely to see.
I just think if I can pave the way for veterans of the future to have an easier ride than I did, it's what we should do. I'm a big believer in. I do say it, I've said it before, and it does sound a bit cheesy, but I genuinely, hand on heart, believe it. Like, I swore an oath of allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, or as the successors and officers set above me. I also swore an oath of allegiance to every other person in uniform, and to me, that does not matter now. I'm no longer in uniform. Like, that oath of allegiance is still as valid now as it was on the first day that I wrote it, and, well, that I signed it and said it.
Yeah.
So I will always come for people who need me.
Yeah.
Just as everyone, in my opinion, all veterans should do for every other veteran, and they
Yeah,
don't. But
I agree.
But where I come from, it matters. So I'll keep doing it for as long as I can until it's either no longer needed or pass the torch on to somebody else or whatever. But
Man, as long as you do your bit, like you do your bit. Sorry, stick to your word. You can sleep easy at night.
that's the one.
I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Right, just gonna circle back to the PTSD and we'll start wrapping this up then. So fucking chat all day.
Yeah.
What was the hardest bit of the PTSD for you?
Do you know what? It was. I felt fucking great shame about having PTSD. I was embarrassed. I thought it made me mentally weak or physically weak, which is where I doubled down on like the aggression subconsciously and like fucking getting massive in the gym and hitting fucking numbers, you know what I mean? Back squatting 200 kilos.
People will never think I'm weak because of the fucking size of them.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
But most of all, my biggest fear is that people would look at me like I was a basket case and that my military career would mean nothing. And that people I serve with would be like, oh, fucking yeah, it's a shame. All I ever want is for someone to go, I was a good soldier. That's all I want. And my only concern, every time I do a podcast, I'll have a minute before I start where I'm like, what if one person who doesn't know I've got PTSD sees this and thinks less of me or goes, fucking hell, well, you were a good squad, but now look at him, basket case or whatever. And I know it's bullshit, but still now, it does give me a little fucking shot across the bow. The hardest thing is, it's like, why am I mentally weak because I've got PTSD from this situation, which 6 other guys are on and they're all okay, but actually, they weren't alright. Like, actually, they're not okay, they're just fucking displaying this in a different way. I'm
going to ask you this. Why does having PTSD make you weak or less of a man?
It doesn't, but at the time, when it first happened, and it was in the military, the easiest way to explain it with PTSD in the military is like COVID. COVID's made it dead easy to explain this. You go, when someone's got COVID, don't fucking know him, he's contagious. Yeah. We all knew people in the military that weren't alright, that needed, I always say, needed a fucking cuddle. Like, you know, and you go, oh, fuck, just be worried about around him. Like, he's a bit fucking, you know what I mean?
Bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah, or he needs a bit of a cuddle, just be fucking, don't get too pally with him. And everyone knew someone like that.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to be too pally or associate too much with them because everyone knew they weren't alright mentally. And then it was like, oh, is it catching? Is he going to make... And it's not, it's fucking stupid, but look at the world with COVID.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's just the same as that. It's like, fucking hell, he's a bit fucking tapped him, just be careful with him, that. Don't take too much on board what he says.
Like you said with the labels and stuff, like like we said before we started recording, like I'm bipolar. Got diagnosed bipolar when I was 23.
Yeah.
Always struggled with my mental health since I was like 13. Apart from like partners and fucking maybe one or two of my boys, nobody knew I was bipolar up until August when I started this. I was fucking, because I always thought people are going to see bipolar before they see me.
Yeah.
So I was always worried about that. I thought people are going to think, and rightly so, if someone says they're bipolar or schizophrenic,
Yeah.
you know, that guy's a fucking nutcase. Like, he'll set your house on fire, or he's talking to televisions, or looking in corners, or stuff like that. So I was always worried, but then I thought, you know what? I'll own it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't care. If you think I'm nuts, good. Fucking stay away from me then, innit, you cunts.
Yeah, and it is very much like that. I think for me, I hate the stereotype of always a soldier and always got PTSD. Oh, like, and people, it happened a lot when I was younger. You know, women would be like, "Oh, don't date squaddies. They're all PTSD. They're all a bit fucking mental. Like, just swerve them." And I don't think it's alright to categorise people and bracket them in that thing. But for me, it was, I put so much into my military career, and who I was in the military was so much of who I am as a person. Still now.
Yeah.
The fucking biggest thing I've ever done in my life was passing selection for that unit. Like, and the most joy I've ever had in my life is serving with those guys from that unit. Still now. And I just didn't want that taken away by a little fucking acronym at the end of the name.
Yeah. Didn't want it tarnished.
I just want people to go, not, oh yeah, he's got PTSD. Just, he was a good soldier. I did the job when it mattered.
Yeah, but why can't it be Yates, who was a fucking great soldier, always got stuck with the boys, but he took his fucking toll on him?
Yeah, it can now, but at the time, you
Just
know...
the mindset, innit, flipping it.
At the time, that wasn't even an option, it wasn't even a thought process. It's how people will think you're fucking weak because of this now, or you're trying to claim money and whatever.
Yeah.
Or another one trying to claim compo.
But would you think it is just a change of your mindset, what's needed? Well, needed at that point.
Yeah, and education.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't even know that non-uniform services could get PTSD. I thought it was purely a, army fucking, military, police, ambulance. I didn't. Since then, like, fucking hell, I know women who've got PTSD through childbirth.
Yeah.
And they're like, fucking hell, you've had it well worse than me. How are you supposed to love the kid that's created the fucking PTSD? Do you know, like, hats off to you, love, like, fucking hell. But just at the time, you're ignorant to it. It's
the brain, isn't it? Like you says, you went up with 6 lads and you're the only one potentially with PTSD, and like, I've got 5 brothers, I'm the only one with bipolar. Yeah. It's fucking way the cookie crumbles, isn't it?
Luck of the draw.
Yeah. Something like that anyway. I don't know who's the lucky one in the draw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, mate, so the Veterans Army, how can people get involved? How can people find you?
So we've got all social medias, website, social media, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. We're always doing stuff on social media. We're always looking for people, not necessarily to get involved monetarily, but if you're a fundraiser and you want to do something, or if you're a person, as an example, like a therapist who wants to do some fucking pro bono work, we're more than happy to have a conversation with you, because we get more and more people all the time. And that's not me saying we don't pay, because we do pay wages, but ideally, people that want to do a bit can reach out to us. It's just, we're just primarily a social media, and we have got the website. It does get monitored. There is just me and 2 other people that monitor stuff, so like, stuff doesn't get answered immediately, but I fucking do my best by it. And yeah, if people can afford the kind less than the price of a fucking Starbucks a month to support veterans, then please consider subscribing and donating to us.
Mate, I'll be pushing it for you, don't you worry about that.
Sure.
Right, last question.
Let's go.
And I'd like to finish on this. You, all your lived experiences, everything you've gone through, all your knowledge, what you got today, can go back to a little 12-year-old you. What would you say to yourself?
Do what you wish for. Because you just might get it.
Perfect, mate.
Lord.
Right, mate. Anything else to finish on?
No, mate, you've been great. Thanks for having me.
Mate, honestly, I fucking loved it. I've laughed, I felt fucking sorry for you. I could have teared up. But honestly, mate, it's been fucking brilliant. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to From Rock Bottom. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe, like and share. It really helps us keep doing this work and bringing these stories to light. You can also follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content and ways to get involved in the conversation. Most importantly, if you're struggling right now, Please don't suffer in silence. Reach out, talk to someone, seek support. You are not alone, and you are absolutely worth life. Take care, keep fighting, and we'll see you in the next episode.